You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the
M.T.V.B.
podcast. The podcast that talks about my four favourite subjects.
We're back.
That's movies, TV shows, video games and board games. I'm your host Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Ant-Man, and welcome. This episode we're going to be talking about our top TV shows of 2021. Last episode was on movies, and we're now moving over to the TV series side, the smaller screen, shall we say. I'm joined by a bunch of guys that love to talk about TV shows. Guys, introduce yourselves around the table, please.
Hi, I'm John, JK47.
Hi guys, it's Gal, aka Grey Fox.
Hey guys, it's Big J.
And Dave, aka Dave Ex Machina.
Nice.
Oh, nice one. Yes.
Damn it, you're getting better every time, man.
This
So-
one wasn't linked into anything, though.
Of course.
So Biggie, you made it onto the podcast. You obviously do commentary corner with us, but you actually come onto
Welcome,
the actual
brother.
podcast.
Wow, man. It's
Welcome,
been a while.
brother.
He's got that fucking itch.
Yes, like a penis with an STD. Yeah, but welcome. So you haven't been on the podcast since season 2 when we did over the internet. Thanks for coming back on,
Yeah,
man.
that's it. And I think the time before that was when you first started.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, man.
Been a little while.
Yeah.
So TV shows of 2021, guys. Have you got your lists, top fives?
Yeah.
Ready
Took a
and
bit.
ready to go.
Took a bit of doing that, did.
What, the list or something else?
The list. Yeah. We'll leave it at that bit. Yeah.
Okay. You fucking laugh, dude.
I was waiting.
Welcome back, John. You were barely in season 3. It's nice to have you back, mate.
Bless him, bless him.
Oh, dear.
So anyway, obviously we'll go through a few little questions and then we'll do our top fives as we normally do. So obviously the first question is, did you get to watch an awful lot of TV in 2021?
Yes, I watched quite a lot.
Yeah.
Didn't get to finish some of them, but I watched quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people would have, isn't it? With the pandemic and everything like that, a lot of people were probably at the early part of the year would have still been at home, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we were like the first 3 months, wasn't it? Stuck indoors.
I was going to say, we were off a lot of work, weren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So that would have been prime time for.
Yeah. So, yeah, trying to watch a lot of stuff, but it didn't feel like, we were playing catch-up a bit, weren't we? So a lot of stuff felt like it was either carried over or stuff was pushed back, things like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
First year,
Managed to watch-
I kind of retired, so it was the first year where I actually didn't have
Did
work.
fuck all.
Yeah,
watch TV.
Didn't go to work, When-
Massive
when
catch up for
The
you.
year before, obviously, being on furlough most of the year. Okay, you didn't do a lot of work, but was still employed. But last year, I was actually retired.
I thought you retired in 1997.
Sorry, Big A, you were going to say something?
Yeah. So
Like Dave said, like a lot of catch up, and whatever new came out, managed to watch it because of COVID. Thank you, COVID.
hey,
Silver lining, eh?
well, yeah.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were some. Yeah.
And obviously, if it doesn't spoil your top fives, were there any surprise hits of last year at all?
Yeah.
There were a couple for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them in my...
They're in
my
your top five.
yeah.
That's fair, yeah. We'll leave it for that.
We'll go into it. And these guys...
I've got a lot of honourable mentions because there were quite a good, decent amounts. So I would say more like for this last year has been more like animation sort of type thing.
Sure, yeah.
You're big into your anime anyway,
yeah.
aren't you? Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, for me, and as well, I think, which you'll like, is surprise hits wise. There was something that got me into, a sort of sphere of TV that I haven't really watched much of.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then from that, there was loads of other stuff I could go and watch back. You know,
Sure.
came out in 2020, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, that's pretty good then.
Netflix started pinging things up for me.
Exactly, yeah.
You watch that, so like, here's something you might else like.
Here's something else you might like.
It's quite a good
Korean drama, I'm guessing. And
Spoiler!
God damn it.
God damn.
He likes to spoil things.
Yeah, he
though,
does
doesn't
that. He
He
does
does.
that a lot. So again, if nothing gets spoiled from your top fives, was there anything particular that you was looking forward to last year at all, TV show wise?
To be fair, like for me, it wasn't like, you know, anything that I was kind of like looking forward to kind of thing, but it's just, you know, if one of you guys start talking about a TV show and start, you know, mentioning,
And then you'll
it,
probably go, "Oh, that was yeah."
and I'll be like, "Oh, I'll give that a go," kind of thing, and then I'll watch it and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm quite, you know, pleasantly kind of surprised about how good that show is." and
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the ones on my list were ones that I was looking forward to because they were either pushed back or
Yeah.
you had that
Oh,
dead
right,
period
yeah.
of 2019 where all the films and, you know, all sort of production shut down on a lot of stuff. So I think there was a lot of anticipation for the TV of 2021, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
sure, absolutely. I mean, again, a couple of things I was looking forward to is delayed till this year. So,
Oh, right.
again, I will honourable mention that later on. But yeah,
There was quite a few actually for me, but I won't mention some of them because it might be in your top fives. But
I think we're going to clash on a
most
few
of the
anyway,
Marvel ones, they're like Loki, Hawkeye, and all
Yeah.
that.
You ain't going to clash with me on that one then, are you?
No, I know. That's why I was confident to say it. And
pile of wank they all were.
yeah, but
all of them were wank.
those were stuff that I was looking for. Even some of the Star Wars stuff, like Bad Batch, and
Fair enough, yeah.
there were quite a few. Surprising quite a few amounts of TV shows.
All right,
Last
so
year.
we'll go and do the opposite now. Was there anything you watched and thought it wasn't that great?
Yeah.
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 Do you want to mention it or
There
just
was a
leave it
few.
for later?
I'm trying to remember what it was called now. Hellbound.
Yes,
see
yeah,
that
that
one?
was
I don't know if that was
Yeah.
released in 2021.
it was, yeah, in November.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still on like episode 6. So I haven't
It's the last episode.
I finished it. Yeah, it's just been put on pause.
Thanks, but I'll talk about it later.
That's in your... Oh, okay. fair
Same
enough.
here.
That was in your
It's in
top.
my top 5.
What?
I like
What a
that.
pile of wank.
Oh, no. Well,
Well, we'll go into
I
it
liked
anyway.
it.
We don't
I liked
discriminate here anyway.
yeah. Not much.
Anyone else at all? Falcon and Winter Soldier definitely was a big no-no
Yeah,
for me.
I
That
was
was
just
that was
about to say
wank.
I never watched it anyway, so yeah.
And Hawkeye, I didn't think much of Hawkeye.
Okay, it was okay, but
No, it wasn't.
Didn't
It
watch
wasn't
anyway.
big. Come on.
Falcon was a lot
I didn't
worse.
watch it.
Falcon was a lot
I've
worse.
got a good one.
Oh, go on.
Wheel of Time.
I never.
Haven't
You
watched
mentioned it to me, but I
Yeah,
never watched it.
Don't
Yeah.
bother watching it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's like somebody tried to write fan fiction of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
It seems to
okay.
be like it almost feels like a copy of it, just a really bad
I
copy.
thought at one point you said you were enjoying it.
Well, I was watching it
Right.
because
that's a
I
big
kind
difference.
of got into it. Like I was in it, involved, and then I was kind of like, oh, just everyone in it is irritating,
Yeah. I see. You get
I
to a
just,
point you think I can't be bothered watching
and
anymore.
it feels like it's copying a lot of stuff.
I've been there
And
before,
it was, you know, I think it's a cynical grab at like the Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings style audience, that hole that's been left.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. You might really like it, but
Was it a big budget kind of? I haven't seen it.
I think
was it
it's-
a big
I
budget.
think
it was
is,
pushed
yeah.
quite hard by Amazon.
As I say, yeah, they did
Yeah,
push it quite a bit, didn't they?
And I was like, oh, good, another fantasy thing. That's sort of up my street. But then,
Yeah.
then it was big.
Was this the one with like it had quite a strong like female lead kind of
Yeah.
thing? wasn't it,
Yeah.
before? Yeah, I remember you telling me about it, and then I was just like, it's not for me.
She's a strong, confident woman. So we'll go to pretty much the final question ready before we do our top fives. And is there anything you're looking forward to this year at all, TV wise?
There's a few
Yes.
thing, yeah.
Not
Such
off
as?
the top of my head, but go on.
Season 6 of Peaky Blinders. It's the
Okay.
last. It's the last one. I think I'd watched up as far as season 3 before, but that was years ago when it was out, and I didn't watch any more of it. So the last few weeks, I've been binge watching it from series 1 again,
Okay.
and I'm nearly finished 5. So, and I think season 6 comes out in a couple of weeks. So I've
It's out now.
No,
The first episode
on
come out.
BBC. It's not on
Oh.
not Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And
He doesn't have a TV license, so he can't do it.
I don't. No, I refuse to pay
I
it.
got
No.
this is just top of my head. There's quite a few more.
So
Halo,
I will watch
Lord
it.
of-
Oh yeah, Halo. Yeah,
Halo. Yeah, I'm interested in
Yeah, and what else?
Lord of the Rings.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
There's Stranger Things as well.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
that was in mine.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah.
And Raised by Wolves season 2.
Yeah,
Did anyone ever
exactly.
watch Raised by Wolves?
Yeah,
the first
I
season?
watched. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, number season 2's out. I think it's the end of this month actually.
Yeah, it's
so
not
it'd be
long.
pretty
When did
good.
that come out? Was that 21?
No.
No.
That was,
The
that
first
was before.
No, this is what we're looking forward to this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Season 2 of that is out this year.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Okay.
The first Raised by Wolves came out before COVID, didn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
That must have been 19 or 18. Something.
But yeah, and Halo wasn't it? Yeah.
Halo.
See-
I'm so looking forward to that one, to be honest. Yeah, and then like you said, the new Lord of the Rings looks quite good.
And the going back to what Biggie said about Stranger Things is in 2 parts this year.
Exactly. Yeah,
Two
halves.
halves.
Yeah.
So we're
Looking forward to that.
There's supposed to be a series coming out of that game with the what do you call it? Zombies. I can't remember the name of the game that you guys used to.
Last of Us.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I heard
Is that
that.
this year?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if it's the end of the year or not. They are filming at the moment,
That's
so it might
right,
well
yeah.
be the end of the year.
End of the year, yeah, because I want to watch that
That could
because
be quite
I haven't
interesting.
played any of the games.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I haven't played
So
them either.
like,
so.
and I know you guys have your kind of like mixed opinions about
Yeah.
the games and stuff. So
Well,
it's
if they
like
stick
I'm
to the
quite
first
looking
one.
forward to just going in.
Yeah, as long as it sticks with the first one, that's fine.
Yeah.
They don't try and mess it up because the first one was a very good story.
The first one's a classic.
Yeah.
Very good.
I'm not denying that at all. But
Yeah,
when
so
we get to
that'll
part 2, you can listen to the M.T.V.B podcast review of that season 2. Has anyone got anything else to add? If not, we just go straight to top 5s then. Really?
Not really. No.
No.
Let's do it.
Let's do it then. Top 5s.
It's time for a top 5. Number 5.
Well done, Big Guy. You kept quiet on that time.
Hey.
Because I had everyone just looking at me.
Looking at me.
We
So-
all told the show.
Who would like to go first?
Stay with that.
I don't want to go last, so
I'll go first.
all right, we'll go this way then.
no,
Yeah.
we'll go
So
to you.
Biggie's going to be last. You're the guest this week, so
Yay.
you're
I'm absolutely fine with that.
yeah. That's cool. Right.
So we can spoil all your stuff for you. That's the way it
I
works.
think there'll be a couple of clashes, but go on anyway.
It doesn't matter.
No, of course
If we
not.
clash, we clash. It's our lists.
Yeah.
We'll just go. We know the rules to it. If we clash,
Yeah.
we'll go in with it.
Yeah.
Dave, number
No,
5.
I really
please.
hope this came out in 2021. Snowpiercer, the second series.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It did.
So
It was. Yeah.
So that's the TV series, the second one, not the film,
Yeah.
with Sean Bean finally making an appearance as Mr. Wilhelm.
Does he say bastard?
Yeah,
Does he really? Then I need to watch it.
Yeah.
but it's quite good because the whole first series they're sort of on their own, doing all their stuff, and
I've never watched.
I've never watched the series. I've watched the movie, but I've never seen
Yeah,
the series.
same
Is it
here.
worth
Yeah,
giving
I
it a go?
like it, yeah.
Yeah.
I might
Yeah.
give it
Is
a
it
go
just
then,
a film, but in like TV? Series?
Well, I haven't seen the film yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay. We need to get you
And
on
then-
that.
So we're the
Yeah.
other way around then. You see, we've seen the film but not the TV show.
Sure.
You've seen the TV show,
Yeah,
not the film.
I'm
so,
doing it.
Yeah.
Backwards.
Yeah, well,
Call yourself Backward Dave then.
Ooh,
backward
ouch.
Dave.
Oh, I'm just saying. Sorry.
It's already boxed down.
That's the first strike there, Dave.
That's the free one.
Yeah.
So
Next one will hurt.
the second series is good because obviously you've got that pitfall where it's a second series, and I think it's quite good because it, I don't want to spoil it, but you sort of get Mr. Wilhelm suddenly makes an appearance somehow. I won't say how, and then obviously that ups the ante, changes the whole sort of dynamic, and then there's some other bits and pieces that happen. But yeah, it was a good.
Yeah, I'm
little-
interested to watch because I did enjoy the films.
Have you finished season 2?
Yeah.
So is it? Will it carry on for?
Season 3 is out now.
Oh, is it? Oh,
wow.
right. There you
But
go.
that-
So
but
there you
that
go.
I haven't watched.
Right.
And that's coming. That's doing that annoying thing where it's coming out
Weekly,
sort of
is it?
Weekly, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
and
Better off
then-
waiting for it to
build up.
finish
Yeah.
and then watch the whole lot. Yeah.
which is what I did with 1 and 2. I literally sort of did one after the other.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I was enjoying it. I mean, there's some bits that make you think. I don't understand why the train needs to keep moving.
Okay.
It overheats or whatever. But anyway,
And who built the tracks?
yeah. But
Stuff like that.
that's supposedly Mr. Wilhelm, isn't it? He was thinking ahead,
Yep.
planning for this. But then why
He was the
doesn't
John
why doesn't-
Hammond of his time.
Why doesn't it just freeze up and ends up with fucking 20 foot of snow? Anyway. So,
Nice.
but yeah, and there's a little fun fact in that second one that I did know somewhere in the back of my brain that if it gets too cold, it doesn't snow.
Okay.
It can't snow. If the temperature drops to a certain
Yeah.
level, it just doesn't snow. So a lot in the Arctic, quite often,
Oh,
it
wow.
doesn't
It
actually
goes
snow.
beyond freezing.
When you see snow when you watch Explorers, quite often it's just swept up from the surface by the wind.
Fair enough.
Little factoid for you there.
Nice little fun factoid from Dave there.
Right.
Nice.
So yeah, That was mine, Snowpiercer.
So is it because obviously the movie is a Korean movie? Is there much Korean in this? Is it all just Americans taking over now? Is it sort of
it's the American take it over thing?
That's fair enough. Okay. My number 5. Sorry, Big J, we're going to clash on this one, especially with the T-shirt you're sporting out with. Is Superman and Lois.
Oh, wow. Never watched it. Oh yeah.
Damn, yeah, no, it's a really good show, isn't it?
Is it in your top 5 still?
Yeah, it's still in my top 5.
What is it? Because we have to clash then if it's your...
It is my number 4.
It's your number 4, okay.
Okay.
So I'll go into it very quickly, then we'll go into why it's your number 4 as well, okay? So, I really like this show, obviously being a massive Superman fan and Smallville fan as well. I just like the fact how it's, it's not just about Superman this time.
Yeah.
It is. I know it's called Superman and Lois, but it's essentially about him moving on from being Superman. He is married to her. He's got kids with her. Yeah. Even though that wouldn't be possible. If you ever watch Mallrats, you'll understand why. Yeah. Isn't that right, Dave?
Go off like a fucking shotgun blast.
Exactly. only Wonder Woman could carry his sperm.
Only Wonder Woman could carry his seed.
Exactly. So we don't know how that's obviously possible with Lois, him doing that. But yeah.
Turkey baster.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to go into the ins and outs of it too much, but no, again, about the 2 kids as well, and the fact that he's actually moved away from Metropolis now. He's moved to Smallville. Yeah. He's, they're trying to build a future there. They own the Kent farm, don't they, as well? So it kind of does follow on from the mythology of Superman. Yeah. The fact that we stuck with, I'm going to really hate pronouncing his name, it's obviously Tyler Hoechlin. Yeah. Hoechlin is who plays Superman. Yeah. So he was actually Superman in the Supergirl series. But he showed up in cameos, so we never really was. Yeah. So when they said, "Oh, we're going to stick with him as Superman," I thought that's how it needs to be. Okay, that's how. And I love the fact that they didn't recast Superman again. Right. For the.
Do you know a little fun fact about him?
Go for it.
He was the little kid from that movie Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks. He was the main.
Oh, is it him? I didn't know that.
That's the son. Yeah, that's
wow.
Him.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Road to Perdition.
Road to Perdition. Wow. I was watching it the other day, and I was like, this kid seems very familiar, and I was like, his face seems just familiar, and then I just looked up the cast of it, and then I was just like, oh, he's the guy from Superman and Lois.
Oh wow, I need to go back and watch that now. Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, man.
No way. Nice little fact there.
Yeah. I love finding out, when you see an adult actor and then you find out it's a kid actor.
He used to be a child actor.
From a film that you like watching. Yeah, exactly. It's quite good.
And just as I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't watched it. If you're into your Superman or DC superheroes, obviously give it a watch. But there's a lot more to it that keeps you gripped. And season 2 has started now. It was very quickly after season 1 had finished as well. So obviously there's a massive fan base for it now as well.
Initially I was kind of gutted because you told me that there's only 1 season of it and it got cancelled or something like that.
That was Krypton.
Oh, Krypton.
Krypton.
Yeah.
That was 2 seasons. That was
that was a good show.
But this one, like I said, they've carried it on super quickly. But there's more I would like to go into it, but then I would be hitting spoiler territory. So why is it in your number 4? So?
I just like the way it's all shot. It's kind of like almost kind of movie quality. It's not like because it being a Superman movie, it has to have a decent budget for it to be a Superman kind of.
This show has a budget. When you watch it, like you say, you can tell, can't you?
It's not like the CGI doesn't look tacky or anything.
No,
like
not at all.
It just looks really good, and it just looks like a kind of like a movie quality shot kind of series.
Yeah.
Okay. So I really like that aspect of it. It's just, I think it's when I think it was when the series first come out. I think you posted up a trailer of it on our WhatsApp group, and I saw the trailer and I was like, this is really good. I want to start watching it, and then started watching it. Really good. Yeah,
because you and your bro like that sort of stuff. So I thought it might be something that might pique your interest. So I was just like, please let there be more than 1 season, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. At the end of it, I was like, really good show.
I've got a question. So is it like an episode? It's just one sort of story, or is it like an overall?
No, it carries on.
No, it carries on. There's like an overall story. And it's you've
lots
got
of
different
little
characters.
It's not like Smallville when it's a new next story, the next episode. It's a continuing thing.
Yeah, because I know what you're talking about. Like Smallville has its own little individual stories, but it has a progressive story overall as well. Whereas this is just it has a overall story.
It's just told in X amount of parts.
Kind of flesh out different characters, like all the other characters within the series and stuff, and you kind of get to know who they are.
I'll have to give that a go. Is it on Prime or Netflix or anything like that?
It's not on anything.
Disney now?
Is it? I think Wasn't it on BBC or something? The first season,
probably on the likes of Paramount or something like that. I suppose is it?
Well, I watch it on this.
I say we all watch it through download, because again, there isn't any accessibility for us here.
That's why I wondered. Well, it's on my list to watch then when I
give it a go. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on both our lists, so
yeah, definitely.
Anything else on that?
No, that's it. You kind of covered it all, really, isn't it? Because it's like really good show.
Good choice,
yeah,
sir. Good choice. You're number 5, John.
My number 5 is The Silent Sea.
Okay, that's my number 4.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is.
You picked off. That was.
Why is it your number 5, sir?
Hang on.
He's not seen this. I don't know why it's on his list.
It's on his list.
It's on my list. I have number 4.
Your number
4
your
number 4 is all right. Go on, then, go for it. Why is your number 5?
Well, it's like a lot of things. I like space. Anything to do with space, really, be quite interested in it. And it was a Korean take on it. So I thought, well, I've not really seen them do much space-wise, because we've seen all the zombie films that they do and stuff like that. So when I saw the trailer for it, I thought, this actually does look quite good, So when it came out, I thought, well, I'll stop watching that. And it's not the greatest thing, I think, that they've ever done, to be fair, but I still enjoyed it. I would like to see a second season of it if they do it. Not so sure they will. But I like the premise of it, where, the Earth is now basically a desert planet, and they're desperate for water. And they find water on the moon, so they send this crew up to this.
Don't give too much away.
No.
Because I know where you're going with this, but try not to blow it out.
So they send a sort of like a mission up to the moon, to this station that they've already got. But I am Dominator.
Yeah.
And then things kind of kick off from there, really. It's a little bit of a slow burn in a few places, and in other places it ramps up quite quickly. So, but no, I enjoyed it. It's quite a good show.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. There was a certain show that peaked the Korean TV show aspect of things, whereas we've been watching Korean TV shows for a while. So to us, it was nothing.
Yeah.
But I preferred this over the other big one that came out this year. And to me, because again, it's sci-fi. I love the whole aspect of no water, Armageddon sort of thing. And this show, I believe it's a one season thing, and it should be a one season, in my opinion. Anyway,
I think it is.
I don't think they should do another one. But do you ever watch Doctor Who or ever into it at all?
I used to watch it.
So it kind of reminds me of an episode from Doctor Who, which is the Something of Mars, which I don't want to say the first part, because then people will be like, "Oh, I get it now, what it is." But I love how this show. It's like when you watch the trailer for Event Horizon the first time, you think it's a monster or it's an alien or something, and it's totally not what you expect, and you do it.
Because first 2 episodes, you're like, this is alien. This is gonna,
It's got that that nemesis and alien sort of aspect of it, hasn't it?
Because I remember asking you, has it got aliens or is it a thriller?
Nash was like trying to get it out of me. Like, what is it? It was like, just watch it.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
Because it's quite interesting, because it's like when they find the first few bodies, and then they one of them, is the doctor, I think, looks at them and says, it looks like they, and then I'm not going to say the words because obviously I don't want to give any of it away. But then that piques your brain, because you're thinking, how the hell could that be? And so you want to watch it. You want to around the next corner they're going to find something, and so you just keep watching it.
And then when you get to see what the final result, what it is, you think to yourself, that's more deadly than something else I would have pictured.
Yes.
It's a unique idea, you haven't seen of or heard of.
Because when you go back to why they went there, that leads into, like you say, to what it is that's causing it. And so, what would you do in the same? You'd do exactly what they did.
Absolutely,
it was great. I enjoyed it.
I think the actual sci-fi elements in the film, in the TV shows, was actually spot on as well. Like the budget, I think they had.
Going back to what Biggie said about Superman and Lois, this thing has budget.
Yeah, you
this
could tell.
There was nothing in this that didn't look like, this was a TV. It looked like an 8-part movie.
Yeah,
It was so good.
Yeah. I think the days of the old sci-fi sliding doors and the wall shaking.
They're gone now.
I think those days are gone now, because I think we're getting some really high production value TV coming out now, because I don't think it's looked down on as much as it used to be in the golden age of cinema. I was like, you're
absolutely.
on the small screen. We're a big
treat it as a movie, but on a
I think we're getting confidence now in TV as a market.
And go on.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, you're right, because you're getting more and more kind of big Hollywood names signing up to kind of TV shows and stuff as well now, isn't it? So it's not just lesser known kind of actors doing TV shows. It's like proper A-list celebrities doing it now as well.
Yeah, I mean, to obviously other people apart from us, like all the big actors from their Korean films are in these TV series as well, especially the big other Korean one that came out this year. But I want to go back to a certain actor in this show. Big Gal, you know where this is going, right?
I know where this is going, and I haven't seen it.
So there's a certain actor, Korean actor
from 20%?
called Gong Yoo, and he is essentially the main guy who was in the brilliant Train to Busan. Now, I don't know if this is in his contract or anything, but this man loves to do the people's eyebrow. He does it a lot in this show. Now, I don't know if he talks to the director and is like, right, I'm going to do this and I'm going to pan the camera up. And he's like, no, I got a great idea. Let me turn my body and my head so I look like I'm going to do the eyebrow a lot. And the thing is, you can make a drinking game out of this if you ever go watch A Silent Sea. And how much this guy does the people's eyebrow. It's like, why is it even there?
Dude,
why are you doing it? It's literally every scene he's in.
I'm like, dude, he's doing it every single time.
Biggie, I'll show you how he does it, yeah?
You know what?
People obviously can't see that what I'm doing, but
I haven't seen the show, but I'm intrigued to watch it just
to watch this dude, yeah.
Are we talking same level of Jeff Goldblum's nipples in Jurassic Park?
Oh, absolutely,
Shout
yeah.
out to Commentary
Nice
Corner.
little reference to Commentary Corner there.
No, dude, I think it's more than him.
More?
It's more.
It is
literally.
more.
He's literally like every scene he's in it. I don't know why. It's probably. I think you
I
said
don't know what it is,
in
man. I might go
contract
back
or
and watch
something.
Train to Busan and see if he does it in that quite a bit.
No, I don't think he
That's
does.
an idea. Yeah.
So why is he doing it in this one then?
Dude, I seriously don't know. I don't know if it's like a confusion thing or something, because obviously they're trying to explain why all this shit's happening, but
Maybe it's illness or something.
oh, I don't know,
Well,
man.
no, maybe he's just got a really good range apart from when it comes to confusion, and he can't really portray that. So he does the. Huh?
But when he's in the other show that came out this year, I can't believe I'm swayed away from it. He even does it in that as well. You go back and watch it, yeah.
Oh, no.
Maybe it's his thing.
Because he only has a cameo in that show, but he still does it.
I wonder
So-
if it's kind of like a little acting technique, like you know, in Friends where Joey turns around and goes, when you got a scene where you need to remember the lines, and he does that kind of like confused kind of look. He's just thinking about the next line, and he
Well,
does that.
me and Big Gal was saying that it's got to be a contract thing. Like, it's got to be in his contract. He has to do the people's eyebrow in at least 5 shots every episode or something.
That's what I mean. It
He's
must
probably
be like
a
his
huge
thing.
rock fan or something.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, sorry, Big Gal. Go on.
Oh yeah, the one element of the film, without spoilers, but John touched up on it. It's obviously the world's deteriorating. There's no water. I love the fact that I think they're paid in water,
Yes.
depending. So they talk about it as in, how much do you get? As in, like
allowance, isn't
yeah.
it?
And I thought that was quite.
They're
like,
literally pumping water like it was fuel, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I thought that little twist on if that actually happened.
That's why I didn't want to say too much. Though,
Don't they
see,
kind of do
because-
that in The Expanse? With early on Expanse.
Yeah, early on they do,
with
yeah.
the
But
belters.
That's not spoilers. It was just
No,
something.
no. We're not going to go into Expanse because that was a pile of shit this year as well.
That's why. Yeah, I'd
I haven't
forgotten that.
finished
I was going to mention. I
Disappointed.
completely forgot to mention it.
What
Anyway,
was it?
Expanse.
Oh,
The
okay.
last part of Expanse.
Yeah.
apparently.
It was good up until the last series.
Season 4 was awesome, but 5 and 6
Yeah,
isn't
so
there.
I haven't watched it yet, so I need to watch it. Yeah.
Anything else on Silent Sea?
No.
Just
that's
about
me.
this is. I think this is probably this. There's probably more. There's two. There's another sci-fi Korean, but it's film. It's Space Sweepers. It's not as
No, that's
good,
rubbish, dude.
But I thought it was pretty good. But this was done a lot better. And I think even
This
if
is more serious.
Yeah, more serious. I think this is more our thing. Like as in
Yeah.
like the set, the way it's
Space Reapers was Koreans trying to be Japanese anime.
It did have an element of alien in it as well. I think partly that's what I'm saying as in the film. I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Not and.
There's like hints to Prometheus into this as
Yeah,
well.
that's
at
what
some
I was
point.
going to
Hints
say.
to all
Where the
sorts
ship
in it, to be
crashes.
fair.
I
Yeah,
thought that opening is wicked, man.
Yeah, there's hints to quite a few things in it, I think, and they're like little glimpses, but it makes your brain think, "Oh, hang on a minute." That's what I kind of liked about it. I mean, for once, the trailer was quite good, and the program lived up to the trailer, as far as I was concerned. Because there's been a few where I've seen the trailers and thought, "Oh, that's going to be really, really good," and it was okay. But with this one, the trailer was good, and the show was actually quite good. So,
Lived up to the hype,
yeah, I think it did.
which had no one hyped because no one watched it.
Well, no, exactly. Only
Apart from us,
only,
obviously.
only us, yeah, and a few others.
Anything else on that,
Few
BG?
select few.
Well, I'm very glad you haven't spoiled it.
Yeah,
No,
because
it's on my list.
worth
You two
watching.
have to definitely see it.
After I finish watching Kingdom,
It's
Yeah.
really good. Like,
And remember,
yeah, I'm gonna ruin it for me.
it's not slow burn. It's more like intriguing. Like you,
Yeah.
like you'll get absorbed straight away.
Yeah.
It's quite unique to.
I see what we did there. It was old.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I'll definitely be giving that a go. Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Big Gal, what's your number
What's
5?
your number 4, isn't it? Or is it 5?
No, 5. That was his 4.
Let me just
Sorry, yeah, of
double
course, yeah.
check. Sorry, just to make sure.
You've got the list up already. Come on.
Mine is the Danish TV show Chestnut Man.
Nice. That was going to go in mine, actually. I didn't put it in there, though.
I haven't finished it.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
why I didn't
Oh,
put
yeah,
it.
it's,
Damn, man.
really
It's good. I recommend it to you. Yeah.
I want
Danish
to finish it.
stuff are
'cause
coming out,
I've
man.
enjoyed
There's
it
a lot
so
of
far.
Yeah, man.
Danish films and stuff.
Yeah.
This is really quite good. If you're into, like, I think On the Way Here,
It's like a crime drama thing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
yeah, it's about 2 detectives who obviously one is a single mum who's struggling with all that, and she's obviously trying to incorporate her detective life, and then there's another guy who's trying to get out of the town, but obviously he's got a past, sort of his missus passed away, blah blah blah. And obviously he gets into, like, a lot of people don't like him, but he's quite good at what he does. And it's about this killer who goes around, like, obviously committing
Just like
killings.
he murders people.
Yeah, and then leaving little trinkets of these, like
a little chestnut with matchsticks
made
in
out
it.
of chestnut, basically, and then he leaves fingerprints on it.
Yeah.
And I think he's done
Fingerprints of a child that's been missing for
Missing.
Yes.
5 years or so, or something,
and it's
isn't
from
it?
I think it's a year, and she's
something
been
like
missing
that,
for a year, and it's a child from a political family.
Yes.
And obviously it brings them involved, and they think, oh, is she alive? And
Could she still be alive?
So,
Yeah.
and it's about that and how
It's very
portrayed.
clever. It's very clever.
Yeah,
Very clever
if
story.
you
Cleverly shot as well.
Yeah, I generally love thrillers. You know, I love it, and I thought it was brilliant. Obviously, I can't go into spoilers. You got to check it out.
It's only
What's the name
4
again?
Chestnut
Chestnut
Man.
Man. It's only like
It's
4
really good.
episodes, isn't it, or something
Yeah,
like that?
I think it's 6.
4 or 5 episodes, something like that.
Yeah.
Not an awful lot.
I think it's subtitles, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Danish.
Yeah, just make sure. Just make sure. Yeah.
Well, you could have it dubbed, but then they've all got Australian accents. It's very odd.
Yeah.
Don't do dubbing, please.
It's got the guy in James Bond. It's, you know, the dude who's a doctor. He carries around the
Which James Bond?
the last one that's come out, No Time to Die. David
doctor?
Deninsky, his name is. He's actually working on the chemical in James Bond, and he's the one that betrays them. The bald dude.
Oh, if I saw, I've seen it.
Yeah, anyway, carry on.
No, he's in it.
Yeah, just carry on. Yeah.
So yeah,
John's going to Google it now. Well done. Just one episode where you can Google it. You have to make him do it.
you recognise him. Yeah, it was. I thought it was pretty good, and I thought we had to go in my top 5.
Yeah, nice. Good
Very,
pick.
very, nicely done.
It's a good it's a very good recommendation if you're into crime drama stuff.
Exactly, and I am. So that's why it's in my top 5. I want
choice.
number 5.
Nice. It's going on my list to watch.
Check it out.
Biggie, what's your number 5, sir?
So my number 5 is The Rookie. It's got Nathan Fillion in it.
Oh yeah,
I've heard of this, but I've not watched it. Is
Yeah.
it worth it?
It's basically just like a.
I like Nathan Fillion. He's awesome.
He's good.
He's a rookie in the I think it's the LAPD, and it's like a police show.
Okay.
And it's how how his training, how he gets trained as a police officer kind of thing in the LAPD, and so yeah, no, it's one of those things that, like, you got there's 2 different types of like TV shows. There's ones where you've got like the long story, the overall kind of story, and you got different characters, and it's quite complex and kind of like a Game of Thrones type story.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got this kind of show, which is just basically individual small episodes, and they're just like quick watches. Like, it's got an overall story to it, but like every episode it's its own individual kind of like story.
It's a different thing every time. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just I just enjoyed watching it because it's got comedy, drama, and action in it, and it's an easy watch, and that's like sometimes that's what I kind of look for, like in certain TV shows, because sometimes I don't want to sit there and just watch a long kind of like series with like.
So it's like a
overall
nice little
story.
quick fix sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Because sometimes like
sometimes you're not in the place to watch it, are you?
Yeah, exactly. So like for me, a lot of the times when I watch a show or something, it's while I'm sitting there like eating or something like that, or at work, and if I'm like on my lunch break or something at work, and I'm just sitting there eating my food and watching something. I don't want to be like, if it's like a Korean show or something, you need to be reading the subtitles.
Especially reading it, and you're like looking at way to eat.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I just need something to watch that's that's interesting. That's that will want it keeps me wanting to watch another episode, but also it's quite an easy watch as well. So The Rookies, it was that. So
Okay.
and it was funny because like the way I came across this show was like, you know when you go into like Facebook or something like that, and then you go into like the Facebook videos, and you just sometimes you just find yourself scrolling, and then you see like a scene from a TV show or something.
Yeah.
And then this one particular show comes up, The Rookie, and like I saw this scene, and I was like, oh, this seems quite like a quite
watchable
good show. Yeah, like a good watchable show. And then went into the comments and found out what the name of the show is, and then I was like, oh, it's on Now TV. Let me just go and have a look. Start watching it, and I was just like hooked. I think this was like during the pandemic time, and I was just, I was just sitting at home, kind of like, nighttime, sit there, watch one
quick
episode
watch,
after the other, yeah. So it's quite a good show.
Nice.
It's probably one of those ones where you can, if you're babysitting, looking after, and you can just have it run in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's just, you could just have it on in the background, or if you're just, if you just want to watch something on your phone or something like that. Because some shows you need to kind of watch it on the TV. This you can just watch it on a tablet or your phone or something like that. So it's just like a nice, easy watch.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know of the show, but I don't know anyone actually watched it. So now I do. I might actually give it a go now.
Yeah, definitely.
And I like Nathan Fillion. Like I say,
he's good in that.
the guy who should have been cast in Uncharted.
100%.
Yes, definitely.
When you
I haven't even played the games, and I totally agree with you.
I kept thinking of Brooklyn 999. Is it similar to that? I know I asked this question earlier.
No, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is kind of it's like proper comedy, isn't it? Whereas this has got like elements of comedy inside it, but it's got a serious aspect to it, and it's got like it's got action and everything else in it as well. So it's not. I know what you're talking about with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but it's not.
It's a bit of everything in this one. Yeah.
So it's not that kind of comedy, but it's got comedy in it as well.
I need to add that to my list. Thank you, sir.
Nice. Anything else on that?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Nice. So we'll go to number 4 then.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Nice one, Gay. Didn't say anything again. Nice one.
John almost did though.
Dave, number 4, sir.
My number 4 is a bit of a curveball, possibly,
Okay.
and it might be a bit divisive.
Okay.
There we go.
Clarkson's Farm.
Nice.
No,
it came out last year, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of that.
It was a.
I forgot all about it, otherwise it would have been on my
I
list.
seriously thought, what a program about farming. Like Clarkson's very very
What's
divisive.
the kid who is in with him?
Caleb.
Oh,
Caleb,
Caleb, that's it.
And I like the dry stone waller bloke who just they have to subtitle because he's like
What the fuck?
they have to subtitle him because he's got such a thick
He's from
West
somewhere
Country.
like, I was going to say West Country or somewhere.
accent
You
or something.
can't understand a word he says.
But so a lot of people don't like Clarkson. I do.
I do, yeah.
I find him very funny on like Grand Tour and stuff, Top Gear, things like that. So when this came out, I was like, oh, really? Him on a farm?
And I was
like what legs has this got kind of thing? Is it going to be any good? Because like the others have done other stuff, like James May did a really good TV series in Japan.
Our Man in Japan.
That was very good with him.
There's another season coming.
Good, but that we can't talk about too much. That was these stages ago. So I sort of went into it. I thought, I think it came out in the summer as well.
It was, yeah.
I don't think there was much else out at the time that I was interested in, possibly. Because I just remember thinking, I'll watch that at work. And I was like, I was hooked.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
so hooked. It's so funny.
I didn't expect to enjoy it.
Oh, I didn't expect to. I thought
I watched this on Netflix.
No, it's
Amazon
Prime.
Yeah.
And because obviously they own Clarkson and Hammond and May and all that, don't they? After the little split from the BBC, but it's so funny.
Yeah,
it's essentially, for anyone who isn't aware what it is, it's Clarkson being himself, but he's got his money and he's bought a farm, an old style,
and a massive tractor,
English country farm, and he's going about it trying to make it an operational and functioning farm.
But he's not doing it in a funny way. He's doing it how he thinks he should do it.
He's doing it in his own style, which is very funny because the tram lines all end up so wonk.
Yeah.
It's like
the tractor's too big.
And he buys the most biggest engine power, and he can't even fit it in the frickin' barn when it turns up, and it doesn't have any of the attachments for any of the stuff. No. But what it does so well is it's almost like you're watching characters that have been written.
Yeah,
but it's not. They're just real people.
Yeah,
and the dynamics between him and Caleb, who's the farm hand that he sort of gets on to do, who has been working, is so good. And there's so many elements to it that I like. You've got Clarkson and his wife. You've got the really sort of Mr. Happy who turns up, who's the farm manager, and he's basically doomsaying everything that happens.
This is the thing.
You've
He's
got
the
the battle with the weather.
Isn't he like his lawyer or something?
No,
he's like
he's like I think he's the farm manager. So he's like,
because he's like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Under this law, it's under this and all that.
So
Yeah,
he's in charge of like the laws, and because there's obviously so many rings they got to jump through on a farm and things. And Clarkson didn't know this. He thought, I'm just going to buy a farm and put stuff in the ground, and then later I'll pull stuff up and I'll sell it in my funny named farm shop.
that's right.
Yeah.
But and it's the whole. I was so gripped by it, and now I'm talking about it. I think I should have probably put it higher, but
I'm quite intrigued now.
you need to watch if you like Clarkson's style
show.
as a person. It's him doing him whilst trying to seriously achieve the aim of getting a farm.
Yeah. See, I mean, I thought I'll watch it because it's Clarkson.
Yeah,
and then there was no part of me thought I'm not going to enjoy it. But I was
You thought,
I'll watch an
easy
episode
watch,
today, and I might watch another one next week. But I'll watch it because Clarkson's did it. And I watched the first one, and it was like, oh my god, this is actually very good.
I'm not kidding. I was gripped.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not watching this at work while I'm distracted by people coming past and talking or sitting down next to me. I'm going to go.
Especially when you're trying to
this.
watch something. The
Yeah,
fucking nerve.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go home and watch this
How
at
very
home
dare they?
when the kids are in bed and the wife's in the bath. I'm going
'Cause
to
then you
sit
can
down
sit
and
and
watch it
enjoy
on my
it.
TV,
Yeah,
and I'm
you
going to
can
enjoy
enjoy
it. I was laughing out loud so many times.
Yeah, totally.
It literally had me laughing out.
And is it called what? Clarkson's Farm.
Clarkson's Farm. Yeah.
Clarkson's Farm.
So there's
the bit that always got me is and they feel like they're from an old time sort of British comedy, like Last of the Summer Wine, the characters
Him and
or
Caleb,
something like that. Because you've got Caleb, who's this young lad, and he doesn't do technology. He's like a country boy through and through. And at one point, Clarkson sends him in his massive like pickup that he's got to drive into the centre of London.
Oh God,
to try and sell some wasabi that he's grown to like really high end restaurants, and the bloke's like, "Well, I've never been out of."
He's never been to a city.
He's never been to a city.
He's never been out of the village.
He went once on a school trip, but he didn't get off the coach or something like that. He's scared by like city and
Literally sweating buckets.
They put the camera in him as he's driving down the road, and it's like. He was
shitting
so
the brick,
good.
wasn't he? Bless him.
And I think what's nice about it is that all these side characters who are normal people, just that have had that celebrity light shone on them by being in Clarkson's thing, have probably now become their own celebrities in their own right.
Yeah.
And everyone on it is so good. Like, and his wife, his long-suffering girlfriend or wife, whatever, is fantastic. Like the whole thing, I can't recommend it hard enough. And
I'm looking forward to next season.
And it was only because I was going back through when we talked about doing our favourite things, and I was going back looking through my history for what I watched on Netflix and Amazon
I should have
Prime.
done that.
And it pinged up, and I was like,
damn it!
I am putting that in. I don't care if Ant says it's not a TV series.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. And it's like I said, it's been granted a second season, so I'll go with that.
We'll put it in my list. Damn
So
it!
yeah, can't recommend it high enough, particularly if you like.
I completely forgot about that show because I really enjoyed it as well.
Thing is, though,
Definitely gonna get that
actual farmers praised it. And they all basically said that he's done more for farming in this country than the government or the farmers themselves in the past 20, 30 years. He's got one show, and he's highlighted all the
hard work,
the
the
hard
rings they
parts
have
of
to
being.
jump, yeah.
Everyone sees old farmers, like what we were saying. He getting a tractor, plough a field. There's 100 more things to it, than
and the
just doing
regulations
that.
they've got to go through, and the margins that they're trying to hit, and the weather, and
they work their arse off only to get so much profit at the end of the week.
They don't get
It's
much.
just puts you off farming big time.
But it's a world that we've sort of lost in this day and age as well. So what's quite nice for me, a city boy,
Yes, same here.
or like who's into tech and movies and stuff to see. It's just a world that's lost to me.
Yeah.
That
Totally true.
50, 60, 70 years ago I might have been part of. So it's quite nice to have that almost throwback.
call.
to escape it.
Yeah.
That was a good call.
But don't watch it if you hate Clarkson, because you'll hate that. If he pisses you off, don't watch it.
I quite enjoyed Top Gear and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a go. I think it's like 8 episodes, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
What was the other one he mentioned and you were like, no, don't say that or whatever?
Huh?
No, there's one you mentioned, the clock. Okay, don't worry.
Oh, Our Man in Japan. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
I know.
good as well.
That's
James May in Japan.
Yeah, that's
being
not
James
Clarkson.
May in Japan with the madness of Japan. That's very good. That's a bit more documentary.
You'll enjoy that.
You'll like it because Japan.
Japan, yeah.
I'm quite intrigued.
Yeah.
Well, anything else on that, sir?
I think I've said all I can
Yeah,
say.
nice.
Just watch it.
Good choice. My number 4 was taken. So, John, what's your number 4?
It's a show I mentioned to you guys before. I don't think any of you ever watched it. It's called Sisyphus. Again, a Korean
Sissy
show.
what?
Sisyphus.
Okay.
It's the time
Sissy
travel
what?
one.
You know, this is
I told you about. It's got time travel in it.
You know, this is top TV of all of 2021, not just Korean.
no, it just
Okay.
happens
Oh, no, all
to
right,
be,
I'm just kidding. Okay.
you know.
I'm okay. Go on. Sorry.
It's got time travel in it. You should like it.
Okay, go on.
All right, explain.
It's quite a long series. All right, there's this guy. He's very intelligent, and he.
Hang on 1 sec.
It's story time with JK47.
Oh God. This young guy. He's a brilliant engineer. He puts together a company that do tech, basically, and they become one of the biggest companies in the world. And he's on a plane, and the plane's going to crash, and he goes up and he basically saves everybody.
Is this Lost?
No.
Previously on Lost.
I'm lost. But it turns out he goes to there's a big meeting, and he's like is it raining?
Yeah.
And what's he looking at? And he's giving a speech, and someone tries to shoot him. But you see this woman. She shouts out to him, whatever, and he doesn't end up getting shot anyway. And it turns out the woman is from the future, and she's come back in time to save him.
Come with me if you want to live.
Because it turns out that as it turns out in the future, he invents a machine that can
Skynet.
Well,
Terminator.
Korean Terminator.
Apparently, you can download yourself into this machine, and then you can upload yourself, back in the future, sort of thing. Because a big war rages in the future, and a lot of people use this device and thing to go backwards. But the people who are obviously behind the war are trying to kill him because they're making quite a lot of money and whatever out of the war. So they've got it all set up. Basically, if they can kill him, they've already sent people back in the past. So if he dies, then he never invents the machine, and so no one can go back and stop them. It's
James Cameron ripoff.
Sounds very Terminator.
No, it's not. There's no machines like that. There's no robots and stuff like that.
Is there like a big Korean Arnie?
And also,
No, there's nothing like that.
after John explained it, I don't think I need to watch it now.
There's more to it than that. There's more to it than that. I enjoyed
They
it.
just replaced Skynet with Sisyphus.
Sisyphus.
Is that it? Yeah.
That's it,
So it's
yeah.
worth watching then?
I
One
think
season
it-
thing, or is it a carry and continue thing? Or
I think it's a one season thing.
I'm intrigued because it's got time travel. How many episodes there?
I think there's about 16 episodes.
Oh, that's too
something like
long, man. Okay.
an hour each as well.
I got to see. I got to see.
Put it in the recommendation thing.
Yeah, Sisyphus. Okay.
Anything else in that, sir?
that. No, that's pretty it.
So
There's more to it, I suppose.
that was your 4. Your 4 was taken as well. Your 4 was taken, Biggie.
Yeah.
So we will go
right,
to
back to Dave.
Dave with number 3 then.
Number 3.
So back to Dave. Dave, what's your number 3, sir?
My number 3, Witcher 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it all. That's why it's not on my
I
list.
know this is going to be an uphill battle.
I was considering it, but I didn't.
So there's
Explain why, sir.
So there's bits of it that I could leave, like the whole elf thing. But apart from that, I'm all on board for the rest of it. Like their budget seems to have gone up a bit more.
More monsters at least this time.
There's more monsters and fighting and things like that. And I feel like why it's lower down is because we're setting up for.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
if John hasn't seen the end of it, I'm not going to spoil it.
I haven't seen the end
But
of it,
we're
no.
setting up this series, so
Right.
yeah, it might be a little bit slower than people might have wanted it for. But I'm expecting that the next third one
will
is
be-
going to be where everything
yeah.
kicks off, and
Which
we
is
get
fine.
to the-
I agree with you that this I think the second season was just purely just setting everything up, building up all the characters and that for the third season.
But then there were lots of bits of it within that that I actually really liked. I liked the episode right at the beginning with the Beast guy, his friend.
Yeah.
With the sort of monster hidden upstairs. I thought that was a really good episode. And the visuals on it, I think, have done a lot. It's done very well, I think. And the budget seems to be a bit more there. They made the Nilfgaardians a little bit more threatening. I've seen people on the internet call them the old from the first season. It just looked like their armor was like a ball sack because it's all wrinkly. But so they've made them a bit more threatening. Henry Cavill is the Witcher.
Yeah.
Is Geralt. He nails it the whole way through, I think. And you see things a bit more. So I did really like it, but then I'm a sucker for The Witcher. So any Witcher content, unless it's really bad, I was going to rate quite highly. But there are, like other people have probably said, there are little bits in it that I don't like. I think they did. Some characters quite badly.
Like,
sorry,
like,
his mentor.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Have you? Sorry, I know. Have you seen the prequel animation?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was good.
He was like a badass character. I don't think they chose the right.
No, I don't think they used the right actor.
Yeah, so I was a bit disappointed with Vesemir.
Oh yeah, what's his name again?
Vesemir.
That's it, yeah.
And they I don't know why because I haven't looked into it, but they killed off a character that's
he's meant to be
that's supposed to be in it quite a lot.
You're talking about
and I'm trying to remember his name now.
Don't say that. I've watched it.
It's in like the second episode or something.
I was like
the tree guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was more like drama and more story building. I can see why people were like put off by it, but it's like I enjoyed most of the stories.
Because I know Ants, you've spoken that you would prefer it to be more like he goes out and hunts a monster each episode.
Not just that, it's just I felt that Geralt wasn't in it as much as he should be.
I can see. Yeah,
they're pushing other characters other than Geralt. It's like I was talking to John about Vesemir, funny enough, and the actor who plays him, in my opinion, looks more like Geralt than Henry Cavill does. Especially the statue you have of Geralt in your home. Yeah. It's like, holy shit, that looks like the guy who plays Vesemir. It's just like, but I didn't hate the scene. I watched it. I sat through it. I just felt like there were other characters that got pushed more than the actual character I wanted to get pushed.
So, but then I think,
do you think
we're setting up
season 3.
But like Dave says, it's setting up.
Yeah. So we've covered their characters' drives and motivations and things, so that then on the third one it can go fully into where we all know it's going to go into. If you've
I think this one's more about Ciri's sort of course in this.
Well, if you think about it, Ciri and Geralt, that it's a story about them two in where we're getting to now. So if you've played Witcher 3, the game, things like that, it's mainly revolving around those two and their bond. And if you think about it from an outside perspective, Ciri's effectively the main character. She's the one with the power.
Yeah. What's it called? Chaos, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
unlimited power.
She's got the elder blood. She's got elder blood, hasn't she?
That's it, yeah.
She's a descendant.
You want this, don't you?
I can feel your anger.
Sorry.
I'm going into like watching the Witcher series. I haven't played the games or read the books. So going into it, I went into it kind of blind, and I was actually looking forward to it because I've heard a lot of people talk about the Witcher games and stuff like that, and the books. And I was like, okay, this will be interesting to see. And I actually appreciate them doing what they did in season 2, because for someone who doesn't actually know the backstories of any of the characters, seeing the backstories of all the characters kind of makes more sense for me with the story and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like I quite enjoyed the second season.
Like I say, I have a few little problems with it, but that's only because I'm a big fan. So then I'm a bit more critical because I want it to be perfect. Whereas something I don't care about as much, I'll let things slide. But like, there's bits in it, like I love that they brought back Jaskier again. That guy does him so fantastic, that actor. He is so good in this episode as well. And weirdly shredded. Did you see that?
No.
You know when he's in a pool?
Bro, he is
the bard.
We were talking about it.
He is fucking ripped.
I know.
At one point,
what character am I thinking of?
We're talking about the bard, his friend.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
The singer.
Yeah.
And at one point...
Dandelion.
Dandelion. But they call him Jaskier in this, don't they? But
topless for some reason.
He's in a lake, isn't he? Washing or something, cleaning himself off in that little pool of water, and Geralt's talking to him. And I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking ripped. Because you don't expect it.
Because he's meant to be like a clown sort of thing, and you don't expect it. But yeah, I was kind of shocked. But there's another character, I forgot his name. I told you about. He's quite infamous in the game as well. He makes an appearance.
Dijkstra,
yeah, he makes.
And that's M.T.V.B or something. The actor's. Graham McTavish.
Graham McTavish, he's a wicked actor.
He's a
and
very
the dwarves,
good actor.
I think that
He was in Preacher, John. He played the saint.
Yes, the saint of death.
The saint of death. That's
Why
it.
has no one talked about Preacher?
Preacher's
more?
awesome.
I love
Preacher's
that.
wicked.
Anyway,
love Preacher.
that's
And
diverging slightly.
the dwarves. I think their dwarves are in the game as well.
Dwarves are in it.
I thought that
but
was
I
quite
don't
good.
think it's the character.
Isn't that
you're
one
thinking from the
Okay.
game?
I thought that was pretty cool when
Zoltan.
they got involved and stuff. It was close to being my top 5, but other.
Nah, for me, because I'm a fan anyway,
good.
and I think
did
it
enjoy
nails a lot of it, and I don't mind as much if you're building up to something really good. Because it's now just got me more hyped to see the third season, and I like the way it's gone. They've seemed to have, tightened things up. They seem to have done a bit better with the CGI. Because in the first series there was a really weird prosthetic ram guy, wasn't there? Which looked a bit off. So now I like it. And I liked the sort of some of the stylistic choices they made, like when they showed the hut, the witch on legs in the very Baba Yaga sort of style thing.
You finally got to see Kaer Morhen.
Yeah, Kaer Morhen,
cool.
and Ciri seems a lot better. I think this season they made her fit more.
Starting to become like a little badass sort of thing. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it though.
So yeah,
I really want to talk about it. We're good.
I might sound like I'm quite negative on it, but it is my number 3, and I'm only being critical because I really like it.
I feel like you should have swapped that one round with.
Yeah, that's
Clarkson,
what I think
to be
now.
honest.
But there we go.
Enough. Good choice. Anyone? No, it wasn't on anyone else's list, was it?
No.
All right, I'll go into mine very quickly because I don't know if anyone's actually seen it, so I'll try not to spoil it as much as I can. But I'm going to go on what you did with Snowpiercer, Dave, because this show's actually been around for a couple of years, but I actually got introduced to it in season 3 of it. It was out last year, and it's a show called Succession. Anyone heard of it at all? Anyone know of it?
Korean?
No, I've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
So it's a show that's on Sky or Now TV, wherever you want to do it. Sky HBO. And it's literally about a family that are very rich and own a lot of news channels and newspapers in New York, whatnot. The family fortune is worth billions, and it's essentially the aim of the show is about passing the torch to the successor of whoever else in the family. So Brian Cox is the main guy and the main actor in it. You'll know him from other films and stuff and TV shows he's done. And then you've got every other member of his family, like his sons, his daughters, and whatnot, who are basically kissing his ass throughout the whole series because they want to earn his family fortune. They want to own the company, own the billions of dollars that this company's worth. And this is done by the guys who recently made that film Don't Look Up and Anchorman and all that sort of stuff. So there are bits of comedy elements into this, but it shines the light on what people with money look down on us like. Like for the first episode, for example, there's a part where they have like one of their Mexican cleaners, and they're trying to play a game of baseball, for example. And one of them says to him, look, you've missed the last 2 shots, but I'll give you $1 million if you hit this shot and make a home run or whatever it is. And it's like a little 13-year-old kid. And he misses it, whatnot. But then he just rips the check in front of him of $1 million because to him it's nothing. That's like a penny to them. The amount of money they earn is unreal every day. And just how it's an eye-opener as to how rich people look at, just people like us sort of thing. And and there is a lot more to it, but again, I don't want to go into spoiler territory. But you get engrossed in what the characters of the other people in the family, because at one point you want it to go to them and then they do something bad and you're like, oh, maybe not him. Or you want it to go to her, she does something really nasty, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go to her either. It plays in your mind of like, who do you actually think deserves the success of this company in the end? And again, like I said, it's gone on for like 3 seasons and they still haven't picked anyone yet, but so much stuff happens. And give it a watch if you ever have a chance. They're about an hour an episode, 8 episodes a season. Give it a try. I can't recommend it enough. I mean, and I'll give you can play a drinking game out of it when Brian Cox says "fuck off" to someone.
I do like it. He's funny.
But yeah, give it a go. I highly recommend it. And it doesn't sound like anyone's cup of tea the way I'm explaining it, but when you watch the first episode, you'll get into it quite quickly.
Is it comedy based or?
It has elements of comedy. It's a very serious show, but there are elements of comedy. It's like I said, it's done by the guys who did like, Don't Look Up and whatnot.
Which he's already said. Scroll up.
No, I'm just saying because I wasn't sure what was the genre. Was it like?
So it's like a comedy drama,
Okay.
but like I said, there is more to it. But it's just how I said, like how rich people live and how they live their lives and how they look at people like us, and then what happens when that's all taken away. How they beg for and plead to don't do this to me and all that sort of stuff. And it's all about money. That's literally what it's about. I couldn't care about family, friends, whatever. When it comes to money, that's the main thing of this show. It's like if you take that money away, I've got nothing. That's what it's all about. It's not about I live as a rich family because I have family. Nothing like that at all.
Money, isn't it?
Nice.
It's always down to money, like we said on Commentary Corner. Anyway, that's my number 3. John, your number 3.
Number 3 is Hellbound, which we've already.
Oh yes.
You
was
had
me.
it, don't you?
No, it's me.
There.
Yeah.
Who else has got it?
No,
I've got it.
I haven't
What
got
is
it.
yours?
Number 3 as well.
What's your freeze? Right, explain. Why is it number 3? Or freeze?
Again, it's Korean, I know, but
This is Korean. This.
Literally 3 Korean film shows.
You done this last year as well, dude.
but I like Korean stuff.
Jesus.
I like the premise of it. This angel appears and says they're going to die in a certain period of time or whatever, and it's like a cult appear and they're like, oh, this is like God. And you need to pray more and all this sort of thing, and of course they then want money from people, so they get quite rich off of it all. And
I generally like. Go on.
No, go on.
No, so I get put off with like anything with like religious sort of things.
Yeah.
But this idea of it I thought it was pretty unique, and I thought the way they go about it, and it's a bit slow.
Yeah,
it is slow burn, but basically I think you get people will get this sort of condemnation or whatever they call it, where they get a vision, a face will pop up,
big face appears.
Yeah, and they said you will die
the
next
sky.
week, so and so.
Yeah,
and the way they die is like these 3 Hulk-like creatures will come up and they'll bash the shit out of him, and then they'll just burn him. And then
what's left is like a big
like bones,
yeah,
or something like that,
a burnt corpse. Yeah,
and then obviously like it starts happening everywhere, and there's this guy who has got this sort of cult following, and he's saying this is like this is the act of God, and who people who've been punished are people who had like bad things.
Yeah,
so he becomes
sinners.
Sorry, I know you've watched it as well, and he becomes quite popular, and then. I think halfway through the season, it changes a bit, and it's like obviously there are people out there fighting it, saying no, this isn't right. How could God? There's that 2 sides to it, and then
it's not until
the guy who's rising in the cult,
he
meets up with the sort of lawyer who's quite opposite against it a lot, and then or detective or whatever, and he reveals that look, I got a condemnation so many years ago.
Yeah.
That's how I know
20
about it.
years ago, wasn't
and
it?
it's the day that I'm going to die is like literally in like a couple of minutes.
A couple of minutes from now, yeah.
And I think he tells him, you can tell people about it. I can't remember what he does, but then in doing so, he sets off this sort of...
He becomes a martyr for the cult, doesn't he?
Literally. And
the cult use his death as a catalyst to boost themselves.
Yeah. And then I thought why I know it sounds boring. I know it's not like everyone's cup of tea, but I thought it was quite unique. If something was to like this to happen, because social media starts getting involved in it as well. Like people doing, like I see it now as well. Like you can see all these people like going crazy online and stuff, and you see it in the show. And I was like, that's kind of can happen, sort of thing. I know it's not realistic, but then obviously this sort of group cult becomes this huge, massive sort of religion group, and it just starts to just start to manipulate like police and government and stuff. And
Well, it becomes
does like a time
It
jump.
becomes a little bit like Big Brother, doesn't it? Because everyone's afraid of if anyone's going to do something wrong, am I going to get tarnished with them? And I don't want to die.
It becomes like a public sort of execution.
Yeah.
People watch it, and all these like high cult people with masks start watching it, and it goes to a point,
VIPs, aren't they, with the masks?
and then it becomes to a point where like some people are like scared to say like, look, I got a vision.
Not until that baby gets it. And that's what turns it, isn't it?
Yeah, and then baby gets hit, like John says, and eventually, like, I'm not going to spoil the ending because I think that is one of the endings I really thought it was. I was like, it's one of those what the fuck sort of moments, and that's partly one of the reasons I enjoyed it even more because that cliffhanger is pretty good. So you've seen it.
I've said it. Yeah. I didn't like it, but the cliffhanger made me enjoy it more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was quite
my problem with it. I like the concept, like you were saying, but it felt way too disjointed for me.
As in what?
As in you start off with a couple of
too
characters.
many episodes?
No. It starts off with like certain characters that you're following,
and
then it switches to completely different characters and forgets about
Did they get
them.
killed off or something?
Yeah, and then
I swear they come back
things
a few
go,
years.
No, they
and
don't.
then there's some bizarre. The lawyer woman comes back right at the end.
Yeah.
Then
I
there's-
think
then
it
there's
jumps
just-
forward a few years.
Yeah,
doesn't
and
it?
then there's
years.
just some bizarre decisions that are made, and I was just it was too much to take. Sort of took me out of it, I think, a little bit. And they seem to be trying to hit too many issues. They've gone for like a scattergun thing.
I was a bit.
So they've got the social. They've got like things like. Right off the top of my head, you've got the social media aspect of it. I like people hiding it.
Yeah.
Are people actually guilty of these things? You know, the VIPs. Did they really need to have the VIPs paying to turn up and watch things like that? They were trying to hit too many, and then like if you'd have kept the Messiah guy through the beginning, that's fine, and done that with other themes, and just had one or two themes the whole way through. But it just seemed to be trying to hit too much for me, so it took me out of it.
Yeah, I can see. But
the ending, I was like,
the ending
in
was
that universe, okay.
But there's a certain aspect of it I thought is, you see these things happening around you, like especially that social media thing. It's like social media is so huge now, and stuff like that where the guy like basically just creates this gang for the martyr, doesn't he? Sort of by just voicing
the arrowhead.
The arrowhead. Yeah. So. Well, I see. I thought.
I agree. I do agree. But then you're chucking that in with so many other different things you're trying to like messages or.
No, I get there is flaws, and even the CGI and the three Hulk looking. It wasn't the best, but they are quite menacing though. Like when they come, you hear this sound. All you hear is this like thud. Thud.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Like concept.
I think it would have. It's a good concept. I just think they went the wrong way about doing it. I think they should have lent more into the mystery of it. And the whole...
Or kept the mystery going for a little bit longer, maybe, sort of thing.
Well, no, I haven't actually finished it. I'm on the last episode.
You'll enjoy it.
Well, we haven't spoiled it for you.
No. Yeah, no, because obviously, like, you guys haven't, like, actually talked about the ending yet.
No.
But, like, from what I've seen of the series so far, it's kind of like they don't really kind of, like, know what's going on or why it's going on.
They
and
don't
it's
understand
just
it.
One kind of fringe group is trying to just basically capitalize on it and be like just trying to kind of promote themselves and trying to gain power through it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of
which is a good sort of thing.
You're right. That's one thing. No one knows why these things are coming and why you're getting these visions. That is true. No one. Even to the end, you don't know. No. Like, the ending is so baffling. You're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like,
don't tell him.
No,
that's how religion works, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
You've got one party of people who become like zealots, and they make everybody afraid. So that's like, you must believe in us, because if you don't believe in us, this is what's going to happen.
Well,
to you.
that's what people say. I mean,
a big element of that in it.
I don't want to sound like controversial, and I don't want to offend anyone, but that's what. In modern day religion right now, this is what people are saying, isn't it? If you don't believe in our religion, you're basically going to hell.
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
It's that's what they kind of
that's
believe.
The scare tactic,
the show is sort of kind of built around that sort of framework, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's
and of course they're looking for the flaw in it. And the flaw is when the baby gets the warning.
Yeah,
because that's now they can use that against
because
the cult,
because they're using. they're using sort of Christianity, aren't they?
Yeah, because what they've said all along, of course, is that anyone who's had this decree, because they call it decree, isn't it?
Yeah.
That anyone who's had the decree from the angel must have done something bad in the past.
Must have been a
So,
sinner.
of course, the woman whose baby gets the decree. It's like, well, how could the baby w's literally a couple of days old,
So
how could they have done anything bad?
Because that's the baby that's going to create Skynet.
But they haven't done it. Haven't done the bad.
Well, he's going to do something bad, isn't he? That's why they picked him.
But all of these themes are good.
Yeah.
But then you take into account there's so many other things all going on.
I think the time
without one character or group of characters you can follow. It just sort of
that's what bugs me with TV shows where all of a sudden they just do that jump because it goes to show to me that they haven't really thought about it. Like, the concept is fucking awesome. Like I said, we've all agreed on that. Yeah. But then when it gets to a point where it's like, it's now 4 years later or whatever it was, it's just like,
here's a new set of
characters you've got to load in 3 episodes because there's only 6 episodes on the show.
Yeah, it's sort of like they've come up with a really good idea, but then they haven't really properly fleshed it out.
Yeah, so we'll start again halfway through, and here's a new bunch of characters you got to really. It's like really fucking infuriating.
Tighten it up to a couple of core issues, like you want the mystery of and then the corruption of power and religion being used for personal gain. Run with that. Don't bring in like the messianic thing, like
but I looked at it like what you're saying, how you had the first half of it was the rise of the cult using these decrees as their way of managing the people, shall we say. But then there has to be like the anti-side of it. So the anti-side of it then comes out in the second half where, like I said, the baby gets the decree. So they use that and they say, look, hang on, you've told us all along for the past few years that the reason people are getting these decrees is because they've done something bad in the past and and this is like God's way of punishing them. So how can a baby who's days old have done something bad? So of course then they use that against the cult.
Yeah, you're talking about original sin there, aren't you?
Well, yes, exactly. Because that's what they.
But this is one of the things that annoyed me is you've got the sort of Messiah figure who creates it, and his aim is to make the world better by putting the fear of God into people, literally.
Yeah.
But
he's playing both sides, isn't he?
But then why does he then go and give power over to this guy who's literally just in it
because he was going to die, wasn't he?
So why didn't he pick someone who was going to further his agenda? Because otherwise everything he done was pointless. Do you see what I mean? All he's done is build that empire for...
Maybe he thought that person was going to further
well, no, because he fell out with him, didn't he? And then he went right back to him because he was a preacher, wasn't he? And he argued with him. He was already something to do with the church, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then... he was a priest. And then he didn't talk to him, but then suddenly he gives it back to him. And
I'm behind you on this, mate. So this is in their top 5. So
I know.
let them have it.
It's taste, isn't it?
You know me, and I don't. Whenever religious is involved, I just think it's this is that naff. I don't get it. But there's ones where I thought, you know what, it's actually I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a quite cool concept. I know there's flaws to it, but. Again,
but there's flaws in a lot of shows. So
Big J, you need to watch it to the end. And trust me, it's like
we practically ruined it for him. But just carry on watching it.
I'm intrigued to find out now about this cliffhanger kind of ending.
There is a real cliffhanger.
Yeah,
and
I'm intrigued to find out.
Do we know if it's getting another season?
I don't know.
Be interesting.
I could Google, but I won't because I get told.
Please don't. Right, so that's your 4. I've got 3. Sorry, that's your 3.
I've got to say, it's one that John's recommended and I've really enjoyed.
Nice.
Well done, John.
That's John's 3. That's your 3, Big Gal.
I've achieved
Biggie, what's your
something.
3?
So my number 3 is a little animation that you recommended to me, and
we got a clash. Let's do it.
Here we go.
This one is a series called Invincible.
Yeah, fucking A. My number 2.
Yeah, it's a
yours as well.
Brilliant show.
Your number 2 as well.
It was my number 6. I put it my
number 6.
Yeah, I know,
Blasphemy. You and your fucking Korean shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was.
Explain, sir.
So basically, so this is a superhero based kind of like animation, and it's kind of like when you watch it, you kind of think, it's sort of based off of kind of like the Justice League almost, isn't it? So you've got very similar-ish sort of characters, but almost characters that are kind of taking the piss out of the Justice League as well, sort of like, especially with that Aquaman type fish guy. So you got that, but then I remember when you first recommended it to me, you was like, watch it, dude, but just stick with it and just watch it and you'll love it, trust me. And then there was a certain episode that you said
the first episode
is just gonna fucking blow your mind, and I was just like, okay, cool, I'll watch it. And I started watching it, and the first episode is sort of these super villains are like basically robbing some sort of bank or something like that, isn't it? And then the Justice League sort of their version of the Justice League sort of turn up to fight these guys, and then you're watching it, and then something's slightly off about it, and you're like, what is going on here? There's some sort of like weird undertone to this. What is going on? And it's just sort of like the way they kind of like look at each other, and like when they see the main guy, the big guy come through, his guy who's supposed to be like Superman, Omni-Man.
He's their version of Superman, isn't he? Yeah.
So
Omni-Man, that's it, well done.
Yeah. So he turns up, and so I'm like watching it, and then that episode that Ant was telling me about happens, and I was just like, oh my fucking god.
Right. I remember watching this, right? So before I recommend you guys, it was talked about for a while, but it was coming out weekly, so I thought, sod it, I'm not going to do the weekly thing. I'll wait till it's all out, then watch it. Yeah. So I watched it, and like I said, my daughter's, she's on a tablet at the time, and all of a sudden she's like really getting into it, because like you said, it's just like a normal...
It's like a 90s sort of...
superhero origin story, how he becomes Mr. Invincible, whatever it is, and, Omni-Man, the origin, that their father and son and whatnot. And then all of a sudden the ending happens.
Yeah.
And they're just like... fuck, cover your eyes now. It's like, you can't look at this. She's like really getting, she's like, I really like this. I'm really enjoying it. And then that ending happened. I'm like, you ain't watching this anymore. It's just like, and then obviously carrying on with the series, I'm like, I got to tell the guys about this. They need to watch this. Yeah. I was hooked. Yeah. This was very close to being my number one, the show. I literally just wanted to go straight away, one after the other. Obviously, kids' work commitments, whatnot. I just wanted to slash it because I was enjoying this so much. And I know it's an actual comic book, isn't it? But I knew of it, but I don't actually know the characters. I knew it was a book, and I knew they actually referenced it in the movie Paul with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. He wears like an Invincible T-shirt. And I say I've known that from somewhere, and obviously it's from a comic book, and they made it. I'm kind of glad they done it. But that last episode as well, dude, that's amazing. That's brutal. That last episode.
I know. It's in like I'm looking forward to the next season.
Yeah, by far.
I cannot wait.
I cannot wait for next season.
It's just.
Yeah, but you've got some good actors in it as well. J.K. Simmons, Omni-Man. You got the Korean actor. John Steve Young does Invincible.
Huh? He's from Walking Dead, right?
He plays Glenn. Yeah.
Mark Hamill's in it as well.
Yeah, Seth Green's in it as well. Yeah. Not Seth Green, Seth Rogen. Beg your pardon.
It's like the animated version of The Boys, isn't it?
I think it's better than Boys, in my opinion. But
oh man, I totally forgot about The Boys.
No, The Boys wasn't out.
Have you not watched
The Boys? Boys wasn't out last year.
The Boys, but when did that come out?
That was out before
COVID and stuff. Yeah. But people blindside this show because it's animated, and not being funny. This could be like your average soap, because people are like, oh, it's got superheroes and it's a cartoon. It's so adult themed. It's unreal, isn't it?
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah,
I've got to say, some of the characters are amazing. Like one of my favorites is Damien. Is it Damien? The Hellboy ripoff.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's such a cool character. Like,
and the Gladiator, the Lion Gladiator guy.
Him.
So fucking
the
good.
Two twins.
Yep,
they're bad. I think their story is pretty good.
But then you've got the robot origins where he's so it's just so good.
I think about the what's it called? Not the twins. What was the first one I mentioned? Shit.
Damien.
Yeah. So his little quirk is where, like, when he enters a room, like it becomes cold and everyone's like breathing. I thought that was quick. Like, him and his interaction with Omni-Man, I thought was pretty, because are we allowed to spoil it? Well,
no.
Okay.
Because they haven't seen it.
Have you not seen it? Oh, okay. So obviously. Oh man, I can't say
it's one of those shows, right? Like that, you know when a show's really good is when you finish watching one episode, you just want to go and binge watch the next episode and Like, and I'm not even gonna lie. I think I finished the whole season in like a day and a half.
Yeah, same as.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was worth the binge as well. Sometimes it's
100%.
like it's not worth it, but this show was damn near worth it.
100% worth it.
And it's so fucking violent. It's unreal. It's brilliant. It's so
I
really
think,
done.
Like the most violent I've seen is that episode. You won't know the train bit. You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah, so good.
And I quite like the idea of Omni-Man. His race, which should we say what they do and stuff.
Yeah, don't say it.
Yeah,
Don't say anymore. It'll be.
But not just that. It's just, could you imagine if we had an enemy like that?
Exactly.
You know, of that
Oh, my
caliber. Just like fuck, man, the stuff he could do.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just dear God.
And what he
And so,
does-
some of the pedestrians just like. just, Dave, watch it, please. It's
Please,
so
please,
good.
please.
Well, you never told me about it.
I thought you knew about it, so I didn't really mention it.
It's called Invincible. I think it's on Prime, isn't it?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. Yeah,
It's on Prime.
Amazon Prime.
You said like the boys,
Yeah,
It's a cartoon version of The Boys.
and then
It's
I'm in it
superheroes.
100%.
Going blind, just watch it. Just
Yeah.
watch it.
Just go in
watch
blind.
it.
Just
No,
watch
no,
it,
no,
and you'll be hooked off the first
I'm
episode.
gonna.
100%.
You have to watch it now. As in now, when you go home, this is the only thing you're watching.
But yeah, anything else on that?
No,
There's
yeah.
more
just-
stuff I want to say, but
Go.
No,
Go.
but it was
No,
spoilers.
it
Fine,
will-
don't
it
say
will
then, 'cause he
spoil it.
needs to watch
100%
it, yeah.
spoil it,
Well, yeah. That's it. Only one gripe, right? No, there's just like there were parts where like the animation, the backgrounds, it's not as if you watch on the big, you will see a lot of little thing. Even when it's crowded, there's like little bit of animation. I think they ran out of budget or they were trying to rush it. I think they took them more time. That's the only thing.
I didn't notice that, to be honest.
Yeah,
But yeah.
But to
There's
be
not-
honest, maybe in the second season because
They'll probably
the
get the
first
budget
season
now.
was such a hit, the second season will probably have a bigger budget.
Yeah.
You know, so they'll probably.
It was only a little
Yeah.
hiccup, but
Nice.
So yeah,
That's your number
definitely,
3?
That's my number 3. Yeah.
Cool. Let's go into the number 2s then.
Number 2.
Dave, what's your number 2, sir?
My number 2 is Dexter New Blood.
Nice. That was gonna go in my top 5, but it didn't.
I haven't seen that yet. Damn it!
So
No, none of them know what Dexter is. So carry on, sir.
I know of it, but
I know,
so
but I haven't seen it.
we've talked about Dexter in I think it was most. Like,
We talked about it in the last ones,
most
yeah.
disappointing
Ending.
endings.
Yeah. I mean, a good show, but it didn't
Yeah,
end
fantastic
very well.
show. Real letdown on the ending.
Yeah. Yes.
Real big problem for me. Like that was I think
Same.
my number 2
Yeah.
or something.
Our number 2, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'm so unhappy about how.
Was that sort of in the same level as Game of Thrones?
No,
ending?
no,
no.
but the next
No.
tier down.
Okay, right.
Next tier down,
Right,
I think.
got you.
That was number 1, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones was number 1 by far. But Dexter was so good. So good. And it just it completely cowardly just went back and basically eradicated all story arcs, all growth or character development, and just went with the most naff ending. And it left it like that for, 10 years or something?
Yeah, 9-10 years. Yeah.
9-10 years. And it left that real bad taste. So much so that I was like, I don't think I watched it again, which is a shame.
Yeah.
And then you hear the news that Dexter New Blood's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to redo it. This is what going back to that question you asked right at the beginning, which was like,
What was you looking forward to?
Looking forward to or anticipating was this
Okay.
with mega trepidation because I was like, well, and guy we work with, Daryl, who
Yep.
I drive in with, we've had many conversations because he was very similar, a bit of opinion on Dexter. He really liked it and felt let down, and we were both talking about it on the lead up to it coming out, thinking, look at where they left it. And Daryl said to me something which was quite interesting and very Daryl, and he said, well, they can't go further lower than that, can they? So anything's going to be better than that. And I was like, oh, that's a good way to view about it. Actually, I'm now,
How can they screw it up even more?
they can't screw it up either anymore. So I was like, oh, that's quite positive actually from Daryl, Mr. Unhappy. So I was like, yeah. So went into it actually thinking, well, it's got to be somewhat better, and they're going to do something to try and repair the ending from the TV series. And actually, I
was going to say, please tell me they did.
Yeah, I think
They
they
do.
did. I think they
They
did.
do.
Good. I must find it and watch it.
It's in places it's a bit slow,
I don't mind that.
but what it is it goes back to what made Dexter good.
Mm-hmm.
the main sort of villain in it is really good.
Yeah.
I thought. And the others who've watched it, I don't know. I mean, is it just you, Ant?
I've watched it,
Yeah. The
Because me and my wife love Dexter, so we had to watch the new series.
But the
Is he-
villain that he goes up against
Is he someone that was in...
no.
No.
He's a new villain.
So it's
right,
it's a complete separation because obviously he fled, didn't he, up to Canada or
Yeah.
somewhere up.
He went
Alaska,
somewhere.
I think.
Yeah, he went somewhere.
Alaska.
Somewhere off the grid.
So he went off the grid and basically just chucked in everything, didn't he? You know, spoiler alert for the end of the thing, and ran off, which is not what we wanted, development-wise. And in this one, you pick up there, and it starts off, and you're like, oh, really? He's, this is where it's been, and it sort of, it brings people into it, it brings things start happening, and you start getting, and it rebuilds that tension, I think,
from the old series,
good from the old series, where you've got, there's always the wolf at the door, isn't there? The wolves sort of circling. Dexter was always trying to stay one step ahead, and he's now trying to stay one step ahead whilst everything's coming back in many ways, more than one.
All right. Sounds good.
Yep.
Dark Passenger and things like that. And then you've got this new villain who's really good, and I like the actor who plays him as well.
Yeah.
He's very good. He's very good. And there are some...
But he's been in a lot of other things,
Yeah,
isn't he? He's
yeah.
been in movies as well, whatnot. So
Yeah. And there are bits in it that I had problems with, but on the whole, and again, I'm being picky and I'm being hard on it because they did so badly with the ending of the first 6 or 7 series. 7 or 8? I don't know. How many series?
7, I think it was, yeah.
So I'm being hard on them. But the ending, because towards, and I don't know if you're the same as this, but towards the last episode or so, you're thinking where they're going to go with this.
Yes.
And there's a few routes that they could go, and you think, oh, don't do that. I don't want that.
We had this conversation, didn't we?
I don't want that to be the ending. And I think the ending they chose is a very good ending.
100%.
And it was so good because it's taken what was a really negative thing for me. I didn't watch any of the Dexter until... So for that 8-9 years, however, between the last series airing and now, and I had most of them apart from the last series because I was working in Blockbusters.
Nice.
Picked them all up, cheap, on DVD. And back in the day.
DVD.
Yeah, DVD. And what was I saying?
Picking up the series, you're in the series.
So I've never watched them. Yeah. So yeah, I've never watched them, and then obviously I thought, well, I'll watch the to refresh.
Yeah.
Because I can't quite remember what happened in the last 2 series in the lead up to it, and I do, I did enjoy the earlier series a lot, so I rewatched them just in time for New Blood to come out, and then I was like. And I got sucked in, and it was like you were saying, where I literally would finish one episode, and I'd be like, "Oh, come on, because it was getting released
Weekly episode,
and there was a big break over Christmas, which fucking annoying." And so I had a bit at the beginning where I was watching some other stuff, so I let him save up on the Sky Planner, and then I was damn it, I've got like 3 episodes I just watched back to back, and then I was like, I've got to wait a week now. Oh no, I've got to wait longer because it's blooming Christmas. So it changed it, and it made something that had such a negative, it was number 2 on my all-time list of disappointing TV series. To take something that was that negative,
and they knew they fucked up as well.
And they knew they'd fucked up, and to redo it.
So they rectified their mistake.
They rectified their
100%.
mistake.
Oh, good.
The only criticism I would have, and it's a fan thing, is in the last episode I felt... was that you I was talking with?
Possibly.
I felt the last episode was a bit rushed, and I wanted it... I think it was Daryl, actually, because Daryl hated the ending.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really hated it. I liked it.
I did.
I just felt it was... It all snowballs till right in that last episode, and a lot happens in the last sort of 20 minutes. I wanted that dragged out a little bit more.
Yeah.
I wanted some things, some sort of... comeuppance to come in, from certain people.
But did the end feel rushed then?
A little bit, because
Right, okay.
it all happens very quickly.
Right, okay.
And, you
I
think...
get where you're coming from.
It's one of these things where suddenly everything suddenly hits the fan, and it's like... It moves very quickly from one thing to the other, and you're like, I personally... And this is
Would have liked
just
another half an hour of it, sort of
I
thing,
would have liked another episode to just flesh it out,
Right,
so
okay.
we could see, before it then gets to that point where it gets past the point of no return, if you see what I mean. And I'm trying to talk cryptically so that Ant knows what I'm talking about. And John doesn't. But watch it. I can't recommend it enough. I really wanted to keep watching it. Snowballs.
I've wanted to watch it since I knew
it's my number 6 on my list, because me and Dave were talking about this every time an episode was out, and when you've got the term New Blood, I kind of figured where this was going to go.
Right.
And I was like, I was a bit naive, really, wasn't I? I was like, I reckon this is going to happen. This was going, and the first few episodes does indicate that.
Is,
and it's not until Dave says, like, the last couple episodes where shit starts to happen, this and this all happens, and like I said, Dave, it throws in very quickly, so you're going to have to think to yourself, well, how are they going to end this now? Right. If continue on the series, whatever. And like I said, Dave says, like, the last couple episodes is what where it all kicks off, and how are they going to do this, but without trying to spoil it to you, it's
because it's like
they just rectified what they should have done.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And to me, it's what I wanted.
Yes.
But like Dave says, they could have probably got another episode out of it just to stretch it out a little bit, because it does just happen, the ending.
Yeah,
but,
and it's a type of ending which they could have done on any of the series, and it would have been nice to see the other side of the coin, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, because I didn't expect that, because like I said, I had the ending planned out already, and it turned a complete U-turn for me. So that's why I was kind of pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm going to try. Did that. I'll probably have to download it and watch it because it doesn't. It's not.
Because you know what I'm like when I call TV shows, I'm usually right half the time.
Yeah, you are.
Like, especially with all the Disney stuff, you're like, oh man, you called that like me before it came out. It's like you knew that was going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm kind of glad this show done a complete 180 on me.
So when it happened, were you like, holy shit?
I was actually.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. I'll
it was very close to being in the top 5, but it's just.
Just one question. So when you said it ended and it was rubbish, like as before,
the original.
Did they make it so like that didn't happen, or
no? They've used that almost as like a jumping off point. So a lot of stories. If you, it's going back to my uni days.
Is it
a lot of stories?
The ending to the Shield.
Well, a lot of stories sort of follow this format,
in the sense
right?
that you thought something and it didn't. Oh, okay.
A lot of these stories sort of follow this format, and you can probably pick any movie in your head and think about it. So things start off sort of relatively neutral. The tension and the drama starts to pick up. Mm-hmm. Things look like they're going well, and then suddenly there's something bad happens, and the story hits rock bottom. How can we ever, how can we ever come back from this? So if you take, say, you take sort of Star Wars or something, and you've got Darth Vader throwing Luke down and Han Solo being frozen and thing. How can they come back from that? That's like rock bottom. It looks like the Emperor's going to win, and the Empire, and then suddenly everything goes back up, doesn't it? And the goodies triumph at the end. That's a typical story format, and you can probably pick any movie and sort of figure out how to do that. And with the series, if you took all the series of Dexter and you put them in that arc, you start off at neutral, literally, because Dexter is unemotional. He hasn't got emotions. He's not a human in that way. He's a creature, an animal, a killer. And then he starts getting these feelings, and it starts looking good. And then, there's a few bumps on the way, which I won't spoil because I want you to watch it. And then it gets to this point where he's gone up in his arc, and then everything goes wrong.
Right.
And that's where it ended. That's where they ended the series. Yeah. So at rock bottom, and you're like, really? That's it? There's no redemption, no, happy ending or resolution that you wanted. And so they've taken that. So that's the negative point. They've moved on 10 years, the real time, and this is sort of almost his redemption.
Oh, okay.
From what happened at the end of all the series.
Right.
Would you agree? Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So they're essentially completing the movie.
Completing the arc, yeah. So you've got that,
oh my God, it's taken 10 years to do
it.
It is
the issue.
Yeah. Because it left a very sour taste for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, the minute they mentioned the word Dexter, I thought, that's it, I want to watch it.
If they slapped like a to be continued at the end of season 7, I probably would have been like, okay, that's
yeah.
fine.
I would have
But
been
just the
fine,
fact that they didn't, and it was
No,
like, this is what you've got.
They were very, at the time, that this was the final season.
Yeah.
No more Dexter after this. No one was going to do it. There was no
I think
plans.
that's what disappointed people.
That's-
Is
yeah,
like you
that's
say,
it,
if they knew they were ending it, surely they would have come up with a better ending.
Yeah.
But then we look back on it now all these years later, and you think, well, had they ended it the way a lot of people kind of thought they might end it, we might not have this series now.
At least they came back to end
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, using the Star Wars analogy again, it would be the equivalent, because you've obviously seen Star Wars, it would be the equivalent of Luke finding the Force to go and challenge and break the Empire.
But he's still
And
stuck
then,
on the bottom of Cloud City.
and then he just gets, and then he just runs off
Yeah.
at the end, leaves it.
I can't do this anymore.
No, I can't do this. I'm going to run off.
No!
How disappointed would you be if that was the ending to Star Wars?
Yeah, exactly.
And then suddenly, 10 years later, he comes back and uses all the stuff that he was trained to defeat the Emperor.
Yeah.
10 years later.
Jeez. At least it took them 10 years.
I'll tell you what, if they could do that for Game of Thrones, that would be
Gosh,
the top
yeah.
tier.
Dude.
If they could
Yeah.
somehow...
Now
salvage
Yeah, actually
that
follow the
fucking
book
train wreck.
when it eventually comes
that
out.
ended so badly.
Yes.
How is it? with
I
the
don't see
EFT?
how you could fucking kill Bran or what, you know.
Yeah.
Have him killed by
Three-eyed Raven
Tyrion
or
or someone. Put anyone else on the throne, fuck's sake.
Exactly. So, anything else on that, sir?
No, sorry, I've talked
No.
probably way too long.
My 2 is taken. Your 2, sir? Your number 2?
Squid Game.
In Korean again. 4 Korean shows.
Stolen my number one.
I can't help it. Who else has got it on the list?
Yeah, that's my
There we
number
are.
one.
Yeah.
Dave's number one.
There you are,
Yeah.
see?
Who else?
Come on.
it's
No?
not on my list,
What?
no.
Wow, okay. Go for it then,
Now,
Tom.
one's
now
take-
I am
my number
surprised
two's
that I
taken.
only clash with one of you. Bloody hell.
Go on then. Go.
I like the concept where you offered a load of money to go on this.
Loads of money. Harry Enfield style.
Yeah, you get the chance to win all this money if you go on a show and do, like I think it was.
Well, it's not a show, is it?
Well, no, they don't know that, do they? At the time, but like you say, it's like was it 100 people? Was
No, it's
was
more
it
than that because he's like number
300,
216,
Oh,
isn't he, or
that's
something?
right, yeah.
What
3 or
Squid Game
4.
have you been watching?
I'm just thinking there's a
I'm joking.
There's
Go
a
on, go.
bunch of people. They get given these tasks, and of course, if you don't complete the task, you die. But you really do die, and that's what shocked me when I started watching it. Is the opening bit with the big doll, and they actually did shoot people and kill them, and you think, fuck, and it just like you say, it just keeps going from there, and it's like, what bloody game are they going to come up with next? And I mean, the tug of war one was amazing.
That's the thing, though. Is like they're little, games that
Silly
kids
little
played
things.
when they were in school and stuff like that, and then they just turned them deadly.
Oh
you
god,
know?
yeah. And I like the twist at the end as well. I mean, I didn't.
There's a particular twist at the end.
There's a very interesting twist.
That's it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was really.
See, to me,
it's totally different.
as much
to
as
what
I
I've
enjoyed Squid Games, putting Korean TV shows on the map. If you've seen any Saw movie whatsoever, it's nothing different compared to
suppose
that,
not,
apart from winning money.
been. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from, but it is, I would say, it's different enough.
Really?
Yeah.
If you haven't
Yeah.
seen anything from
No,
that,
even if you've seen Saw, though.
no, not even Saw. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen 2 other versions of this sort of stories before, and that aspect, and also if you're quite new to Korean stuff, I think as well.
You've seen Animal Kingdom, you talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's an anime of it as well, and that's why when I was watching it and one was hyping it, I watched and I was like, "This is very familiar." I don't think
See, I
because the
hadn't
director
seen
said it
anything
took him
else,
10
yeah.
years to do it, but
Yeah, I don't see the hype in it.
The idea was already there. That same sort of concept. They get people who are addicted to these things. Obviously, Squid Game is gambling or whatever.
It's a gamble game, yeah.
And then obviously Animal World is completely different, and they play card games on it, and these other higher ups are betting on them to win. And exactly the same. As soon as I saw these guys playing game, I bet there's someone doing this, playing a betting, and exactly the same. I was like,
and then the VIPs come into it as well.
yeah, and I was
whatnot.
like, exactly the same. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not.
See,
why
I
did it take him 10 years to do it? It's the
Yeah, see,
idea's
I
been
hadn't.
that's the sort of thing that was going through my head. But obviously, someone who hasn't seen
Yeah, I hadn't
that
seen anything
concept
else.
and any Korean stuff, or so, then they will love it. And then when the hype was going on about, everyone's, oh, it's a Rowan. I was like, okay, I'll give it a watch. And my gripe was like,
No one watched it subtitled.
that as well, probably. Yeah. And it's just a character situation. I think the guy who actually played it well is actually his friend. like from get go.
The guy in the glasses.
Yeah, that's like, I don't understand the story arc of the main character. As good as an actor he is, like he's at the end of the day he's an addict, right? He went in and he said, "Oh no, I'm coming back." Then he goes back in and he's like, "Yeah, like I need the money." But then he's like, "Oh no, she's dying. I need to help her." No, you're in it. You know what the game situation is. Why you got all this like affection for people? You're here to win. The guy, as I said, his friend played it how he should. You're going there to win, and you're not like some savior. You're a gambling an addict. Why are you all of a sudden shifting? That's the sort of thing.
I think that was like.
I don't understand.
I don't know. That's his human aspect behind his character, though, isn't it? Because it's human nature to like if someone's in trouble for you to feel like you need to help them, isn't it? So I think you can't just switch that off and be like, "Oh, I'm just going to win money." Kind of.
See, the thing with this one, the way I view it is, it's that pressure in that the only reason he is doing that is because he literally thinks he's got no other choice.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go back in because he's addicted to the thrill of the game. He's going back in because he's got no other choice. It is literally like, he's going to lose his kid. If someone said to you, you've got to pay to keep the kid here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So he has to go and win, right?
Yeah.
So why is he?
But then you go in there and you're telling me you could turn from average M.T.V.B. podcast Big G to fucking killing Jay.
No, I get that. I get exactly what it is. So he had the option, and you know what the game was. He went out.
Yeah. But then he gets dragged back in
because he had to. So play the game like how the other guy would. That's all my gripe with. I was like, I don't understand. I thought that was why are you.
I thought that was quite good because I was expecting them to not vote to go out. I thought that was quite interesting.
I don't know. I opposite to what you're thinking, Big G, because I think like the characters are like quite good because the guy's friend, he's a bit ruthless in his character from the get go, and you see how he is from the start. But then his character, the main guy's character, you see it from the start. He's a bit simple, and he's like, he's not like, I know he needs the money, but he doesn't want to give up his almost sell his soul for the money kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Everyone's got an opinion, and I get it. That was a bit annoying. And then he wins it. He comes out, and he doesn't even spend the money at all.
Yeah, because I think he feels like he feels guilty.
Yeah.
It's guilt. It's blood money, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
survivor's guilt, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why he doesn't.
You're telling me that you've killed Jay? Or
no, it's not.
You've killed
You're
Jay.
his friend as well.
Literally fucking killed him. He's known you for longer though. You've killed Jay, your childhood friend.
There's aspect to
you
it.
come out and you're literally your bank balance. You see all those numbers, but in your mind's eye, you've got Jay as you looked at him and went, "Nah,
It was worth
dead." And watched him get his brains thrown out, and you're going to be like, right, Maserati and Lamborghini for me, please.
He's got the money there, but why not? Isn't it? But I'm just saying this.
But that's the thing. Like every single character within
he gives the money to his friend's mother, doesn't he?
Every single person had
after a couple of years
had their families and like had their stories behind why they were in there, innit? And that's even more so. That's that main guy's. It plays on his guilt that he's survived it more than these people who've had all these issues and they've come into this game.
And you have to take into account that the games have been designed in a way to manipulate all the players.
Yeah.
So that's why it's fun for the people watching, because in certain scenarios it's forcing people to work together to survive. So you've got the tug of war things.
Yeah.
So if you're all pulling and doing your own thing, you're going to lose. When you work together, it's forcing you to have to kind of rely.
That's what.
Or when the lights go out, and it's that thing of, do I stay on my own and try and hide in a corner? But then if 3 guys jump me, I'm going to get knifed to death. Do I faction up? Do I get my group of people that I trust more than other people around? So they're being manipulated into this place. So maybe in their heads he's not thinking that far ahead, and he's thinking, maybe there'll be 3 winners. Maybe there'll be 4 winners. It'll be a team game right at the end.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better if the bad guy won it, his friend. I think it would have been better. I just didn't.
I don't know. See, I liked just the scene, the people become.
I wouldn't have wanted him to win because, especially what he done to the Asian guy. I was like, "You son of a bitch! He trusted you."
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm not trying to say it because I genuinely. I like the whole, the way the guys look, the whole setup, the games were brilliant. I just did certain things. I was just like, oh no, man. Maybe because I've seen other things. Maybe that's why I didn't dislike it as much. But on the whole, it was pretty good. It's not. I'm not saying it's crap. There's a certain aspect I thought, oh no,
it was different. That's what I liked about it. It was different. Like it's like okay, I've got 4 Korean shows in my top 5. I do like Korean TV and how they do things, but this was just so for me was so different to what they do, and that's what I liked about it. Because obviously, like you say, I've seen lots of other different shows. You'd seen that one before, so it kind of got. So I hadn't seen that, so this was totally different for me.
But one thing though, I got to agree with Big G's. Like everyone was hyping this show, like big time. Like everyone at work had seen it, and everyone would be talking about it. And there's always this thing about like, oh, did you see this happen? I'll be like, shut up.
Or certain people on the group that say, oh, episode 7 happened, and it says this was key word.
Yeah, but you were all hyping it. I assumed you'd all.
How can I hype it if I ain't seen it?
Yeah, but you were all going on about it. I haven't seen it.
But having watched it now, it's a good show, but it's nothing like mind blowing where it's something completely out of the something never done before kind of thing. It's
when people go, oh my god, you're like, oh my god, it must be something
completely different.
And you watch it, it's like, oh, okay,
it's Saw with money.
Yeah, basically,
it's all money.
Yeah,
money.
When you put it like that, yeah, of course, yeah, I get you, but
I think there's more to Saw because Saw it's one or maybe 2, 3, 4 people and they're played off against each other. This was a sort of very different. And
this was pack culture.
You've got the thing coming on. Yeah, I like seeing how the individual people use. And for me, it was an entry point because I had never seen anything before like that. I like it. I like the visual style they went for. The music in it is really good and will be iconic.
The background story behind it all was quite good as well.
I grew up on Takeshi's Castle, and I just really appreciated how it looks so much like Takeshi's Castle, made
extreme Takeshi.
Yeah, exactly. I was just expecting Craig Charles to be like, and now look at him, he's run into the water.
Oh, he's dropped him in the drink.
That show used to be quality.
It's so good. But then it's that aesthetic, isn't it? And then I think it's done very well. And the reason it stands out from other stuff is you say Hellbound in sort of 5 years' time, you won't remember. Oh, yeah, there was those bad guys, wasn't there? And they killed people. Yeah. What this has done is it's created that iconic pink jumpsuit with the little square and the X and the triangle. That's going to be in pop culture from now on.
Yeah. It's got,
The music will be, and I think they've done very well with it. I really liked it.
Yeah. So that was your number one.
Yeah. Because then after that, off the back of that, Netflix started recommending me all these really good North Korean, South Korean stuff. North Korean stuff, that'd just be like all glory.
I think John needs to be your Korean recommendation now. 4 out of 5, John. Not bad. Is the last one going to be one as well? No.
Bloody hell.
Oh.
So that was on John's number 2. Big Gal, was that your 2?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't on my list. I only got number 1.
So your 2's taken.
Yeah, my 2's taken.
So what's your number 2, Biggie?
So my number 2 it's a Marvel show.
Ooh.
And there's been a lot of Marvel shows that's been out, but this one, for me, it's another animated series. You probably already know which one it is.
Okay.
And it's a show called What If.
Nice.
I so nearly put it on my list,
It's such a brilliant show. It's it's like an alternate universe of different characters, and what if this happened and what if that happened. So for instance, if I believe the first episode is the Captain America episode, and it's
Captain Carter, isn't it?
Captain Carter, so it's instead of Steve Rogers becoming Captain America, you've got Peggy Carter turns into Captain Carter.
Yeah,
and
I loved it.
I love how you say Carter in American accent, Captain Carter.
But yeah, it's like every episode it's different. You've got like the Guardians of the Galaxy version of it.
Isn't it? If Black Panther was Star-Lord or something,
T'Challa became
that's it.
Star-Lord, and there was one for what do you call it, Warmonger. That was a good one, and you watch all the episodes and you think they're random individual episodes, but then all kinds of ties in together.
They're tying it with the MCU, are they?
No, as in, like, you watch it as in...
the last two are connected.
No, so the episode starts off with the Watcher, and he's just watching an aspect. And, you know, like, when, like, you said, like, Smallville was, like, one episode each. And I thought that's how it was.
Yeah.
And at the end, it kind of involves the Watcher, and it becomes like, oh, all these stories matter because something happens at the end.
Yeah.
And it intertwines really well. It's really good. Have you not seen it? I thought you've seen it.
And also,
I've seen the first few. I haven't watched them all.
Really good, man.
Talking about, me and Big G were talking about this, and it's not going to be a spoiler because obviously it's in the trailer for
Multiverse of Madness,
and you see the dark version of Doctor Strange, and he's in the What If episode. That's one of the episodes.
We think it's him.
Yeah, so me and Big G were like, I saw the trailer and I messaged Big G and I was like, Big G, did you see the trailer? And he's like, yeah, and he's like, it's him, isn't it? It's him. And we were like, yeah, it's the bad version of Doctor Strange.
I don't know, because you haven't seen it. I was his story.
I don't mind, but yeah.
So,
because the reason I stopped watching it was because, like Big J was saying, they're intertwining it with the MCU. Was the original What If, like the comic series, wasn't about that. It literally was, well, what if Wolverine was a vampire? What if Peter Parker got hit by a car or something or whatever? That's what it was all about. It was like the Twilight Zone of Marvel. And this is where they've done a complete 180 and gone, no, actually, let's do a what if, but let's like intertwine it with the multiverse. Let's like make it part of the MCU.
Technically,
that's why I stopped it.
If it's part of the multiverse, it's part of it. But I think what they will do is, I think me and you had a discussion. I think they'll probably use parts of these and bring them as a cameo. There's one or two characters, or maybe three, that I really want to see like involved. But like I said, I think they're just going to keep it as is. And I don't think that what Doctor Strange guy we're seeing in Doctor Strange film, I don't think it's him, because his story arc is actually really good in What If, because what happens in his one is
sorry, is this Biggie's number 2 or yours? Like, go on, Karen.
No, Karen.
Because we were talking about
it,
and it was basically his wife passed away, and this what Doctor Strange is so adamant that he wants to bring her back, and he goes to all lengths, and he starts taking all these summons in, and he becomes these sort of like dark sort of entity, and he's done it. I think he's done so much that his universe just deteriorates. And in the end, he's just like living in this void universe, and he's like in this shell sort of thing. So he's got like a shell around him, and he's just there, but his universe is gone, like in a void. And that's his story finished. And stuff happens later, and then he's kind of brought back to help out, sort of thing. It's really cool.
It's good. It's a good watch. Definitely a good watch, and it's interesting to see all the different scenarios of all the different episodes as well. Like there's like a zombie episode of thing, like, and it's almost like some of the characters get their redemption that they need. Like for me, like when we was watching Endgame and Infinity War, where the Hulk gets completely thrashed by Thanos, and then he just becomes almost like this kind of like a weakling version of himself. He won't come out, and there's an episode of that the zombie episode where the Hulk, almost in my eyes, kind of, he gets his redemption.
Okay.
Banner gets his redemption, and the Hulk gets his redemption, kind of thing. So it's like, it's good. It's I would definitely recommend it, 100%.
And one more note, I really liked the Hawkeye episode. That was really good. Him and Black Widow.
Yeah.
That what spurred me to go and watch the Hawkeye show. And after watching that episode, I actually appreciate Hawkeye a lot more. I thought he was like a douche, but I actually like him a lot more because of this show. But you need to watch it. It's really good.
And this is not on your list at all?
This is what I'm saying.
You talked about it more than Biggie did.
No. I was in two minds with this and one other. I really wanted to put it in. I really wanted to put this in. And another one, but I didn't want to overpopulate it with like too many animations. So the other one was Star Wars.
Apart from too many Koreans.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted What If and Star Wars Vision. I was contemplating.
The Japanese version.
So good. But
yeah, gee, I wonder why. So that is your number 2, sir? Anything else on it?
No, that's it. Yeah, that's my number 2.
Nice. Let's do the number 1s then.
It's Number 1.
Very good, Gary. You should be quiet for all of them.
I never talked through that.
So we've done your number 1 was Squid Game.
It was Squid Game. Just one more last thing. You know, so many people loved it. That's got to say something about it. It's good.
Because they don't watch Korean stuff.
Then it's a gateway for them. It's a gateway for them,
Exactly,
like me.
just like you, exactly. If it's your first thing, you're going to love it because Korean's badass.
But a lot of them watch it.
I didn't say it's rubbish. I'm just saying it's not as good as what people thought hyped up.
Anyway, Ant, your number 1?
Right,
Don't
so
watch anything Korean.
I'm going to go proper deep on this one.
So, story time.
Right, so story time with Anthony here.
Yeah.
So this was a show that was recommended by Mr. JK47 a while ago.
And it's your number 1.
And this is my number 1. So this was something that was put aside because bit of history with our group here. When John recommends a show, 8 out of 10 times it's shit.
No, it's not. It's just you just decide.
It's like John likes the pretty pictures and he's like, guys, you've got to watch this fucking show.
How do you know it's shit if you don't watch it?
Because we know it's shit.
No,
But anyway, I thought, you know what? This one seems right up my alley. I'm going to give this a shot. And in my opinion, this show is a masterpiece. And I recommend it to anyone who watches it. And I'm sorry if it's your number 1, John, but my number 1 is Midnight Mass.
Oh no, it's my number 1.
There we go. Midnight Mass.
That's on my list to watch.
Yeah, it is fucking awesome.
Really
I
nice.
loved this show.
Because John kept saying it's a slow burner. It's a slow
It is
burner.
a
and
slow
I was
burner.
just
Do you know what? It is a slow burner, but it's still a slow burner that still gets you watching.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we'll go into this together, John, obviously. But
Well,
this
don't
is done
spoil-
by...
don't spoil
No,
it,
I won't
'cause
go
I
into
do
too
wanna
much,
watch
but this is done by Mike Flanagan, who you
Flanagan.
mentioned before on a previous episode, Dave.
Haunting a Hill House.
That's right, yeah. So this is essentially a show that it kind of seems like a personal project for him because it is done so well, it is written so well,
His wife's in it, isn't she?
and I am literally on the verge of thinking that Mike Flanagan is the new Stephen King
Yes.
after watching this show.
Yeah, totally agree.
And I'll go into it very quickly what it's about, which is it's mainly about one guy who has an accident, a drunk drive accident, and he kills a woman at the beginning of the episode, and is haunted by her occasionally. He goes to prison, doesn't he, for about 4 years?
He does 4 or 5 years in prison. He basically has a nightmare almost every night, and he just sees her face looking at him.
Which is very Haunting on Hill House sort of thing. And then the rest of the show is centered around on an island. It's out in the middle of
That's where his family live. And he goes back to the island to get
where his
try and get
family
away.
live. Yeah. And that's what I love about this show is that it's secluded onto this island. It's not in a city, and it's not where a lot of people are on. I think there's about 100 people that live on this island.
Yeah.
And
Everybody knows each other. Sort of thing.
and this is where the slow build comes into it because it builds characters and it builds all the characters up of who live on this island. So you've got a girl in a wheelchair. There's a reason why she's in a wheelchair. There's a guy with a dog. There's a reason why he has a dog. There's a woman who is she's practically the nun of the town.
Yeah.
There's a reason why she's the nun of the town. And it goes on and it just it builds these up. But the thing is that it's done interestingly because at the same time, we have a horror element into it.
Yes.
There are times where kids say, I've seen someone flying with massive wings. It looks like an albatross. And there are certain scare jumps that, oh shit, this is okay.
Something moves in the bushes behind them, stuff like that.
So this is where it comes into it. And it's it keeps you watching. Okay, because even though you're building up character story, you've got this other element at the same time, and that's what I love about this show.
And he's not the only new person to the island.
No,
there's a priest as well.
So again, without spoiling it, there is a priest that usually, or Monsignor, as they say, is missing on this island. He's been missing for a while, and what do they call it? They call him mainlanders.
He went off on a mission. He's about 80.
Yeah,
And
so a young priest, a young priest comes.
This young priest comes back instead of him.
Yeah, and he says, Monsignor is very sick. He's on the mainland. He's recovering. I'm here to replace him. Rah, rah, rah. And there's something fishy about this priest. You can't get to grips with what it is, but something about him is just not right. And again, this is where it all builds it up and everything. We're going to go back to where Dave talked about a certain episode of Haunted on Hill House, where the whole episode is done in one take.
Oh, they've not done that again.
He hasn't done it again, but he does it on the beginning of episode 2. Episode 2 starts in the very first shot, is 7 to 8 minutes long, just one take, but not just two people standing still, chatting away. Something happens on this beach, and everyone's gathering around it, and the camera just goes round.
That seems to be his thing, doesn't it?
Like in a figure 8 symbol. And only one of these characters, like you said, Dave, has only got to muck up this scene, and it does it like that. And then later on another episode, there's a scene where they talk about death, like what do you think happens when you die, for example? Right, and this is the prime thing about this show, is about faith.
Yeah.
Faith is a major thing in this show. So the guy who run over the woman at the beginning has lost his faith, essentially. He's gone to prison, doesn't believe in it, but his family are big into religion.
Yes.
So the question rises, what do you think happens when you die? And he says, well, I think this happens, my body will rot, and my nails will continue to grow, my hair will continue to grow, I'll end up being food for insects and stuff. So he comes up to the realization of what happens when you die. Yeah. And then he says to a woman, what do you think happens when you die? And she practically has a miscarriage earlier that day, or a baby's gone or something, disappears, something like that. He says, well, I can't speak for me, but I can speak for my child. And then she talks about how it will go to heaven, and I will be there. I'll be there when I die. I'll go there and see her. She'll be with the rest of my family. Yeah. And that's what I love about the show. That's the two differences of one that doesn't believe in faith and the one that does. Yeah. How one has a vision of one thing, and that other person has the vision of another thing. And when they're explaining to it, he does it brilliantly again, all done in one shot. What happens when you think you die? Slowly pans in for 5 minutes, just slowly. And this actor is just going and going and going. Again, it can only take one little fuck up, and it's gone. The whole take's done.
I'll tell you, the actors must hate him.
He is so well done. And it's another thing about this show is that it can't... It's weird because it's on an island, it's secluded. You can't really tell what year it takes place, because when you go into the rooms, they've got like 90 posters of horror movies. Like there's a poster of Seven, there's a poster of Scream. Yeah. They've got old televisions, they've got old record players, and they've got old radios. They've got 8-bit Nintendo systems on there. It's like, when was this set? Yeah. And they bring up the internet at one point, but no one ever pops out a cell phone or anything to the very last episode. Yeah. It's just so weird how it's just like how people can still live their life, in the old days, because they're not part of the mainland and stuff like that. John, sorry, I'm carrying on. Why's your number one? Keep going.
I just like the fact. I mean, I just like the fact that there's you get very early on. I think it's in the first episode, but I would say toward the end of the first episode, you begin to realise, hang on a minute, there's something else going on here. Plus, each episode brings, like you say, like Ant said, people come up with different things. So you've got those little stories as well, but there's the underlying thing going around in the background. Like you said, the priest, very early on, you think, something about him, I'm not quite sure what it is, really. And so now you're trying to figure out what's his story.
Which gets explained in episode 3, his backstory. So it gives you a couple episodes for you to try and figure it out.
Yeah.
And then something happens in 3. And it's very weird because of faith. He sees it as one thing, whereas we clearly see it as it's not that. Yeah, because he's a believer in faith. Yeah. That's how we see it. And that's what I love about this, because going back to what Biggie was saying, is like, if you don't believe in faith, you'll die, you know, and all this sort of stuff. And that's what this brings up as well, because it's weird how people have that belief and are determined to think it's not this evil, it's this something else. And it's crazy how faith can do that to you in a big way. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just how it makes you believe that, like you say, when it's actually this.
So it's more like a religious sort of...
It's a main factor. It's not like thrown in your face all the time, but it is a massive part of this show.
Yeah, it's because it's a small island. Like Ant said, there's probably about 100 people live there. I don't even think there's that many, to be honest. And they got a church. They had this Monsignor who was everyone revered him. He was like the head. I would sort of say the head priest, but you know what I mean. And so he goes off to do whatever, and something happens, and this new guy takes over. So they're all like, God, I don't know about this new guy. Do you know what I mean? But then they grow to like him. Things happen. He kind of does things, and so their faith gets restored. And of course, as the series goes on, they start coming together more and more as a very close knit community. And religion is a big thing in it, but but there's this other thing going on in the background of it all. And so you're trying to, like, it's not just one story now. It's like 4 or 5 different stories.
And it can also prove to people that, and again, I'm not saying this to people that are big in faith, but sometimes faith can brainwash a shit ton of people and do something that they shouldn't do, for example. This series is only 7 episodes, or an hour each, if that. Nothing really kicks in until episode 6 and 7. But by fucking God, when it got to episode 6... Damn, it's like, where all of a sudden did that come from?
Yeah, I mean, I had kind of
like... It's such a big build-up, and it is worth that build-up.
Yeah. Is this like a subtitled...
No. It's a normal American thing. Okay. There's a few actors that were in the Haunted of Hill House have come back into this show sort of thing.
Okay.
That's the Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, he always puts his wife in.
Yeah, and Elliot from E.T.'s in it again.
What's his name? Yeah.
But yeah, again, without spoiling it, I cannot recommend this show enough. Please give it a go. I want to talk more about it. I would love to talk about it with you guys once you've seen it. Because there is one massive thing I really disliked about this show, and I can't tell you about it until you watched it. Again, when you watch it, we will talk. But clearly, none of these people have ever watched a horror film in their life. But please give it a go. Midnight Mass is on Netflix, 7 episodes.
You say none 100%. Of them have watched a horror movie, but they've got horror movies from the 70s on their wall.
On their wall, right? Yeah. Exactly.
So, interestingly, right, so I saw it come up. I saw it pop up, Midnight Mass, saw that it was done by Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Watched the little trailer thing that it does on Netflix, and I was like, that is not a good trailer.
No.
I was expecting some sort of hint of supernatural or horror or whatever, and the trailer, I was watching it, and I was like, do you know what?
I think
I'll put it on my list.
And the thing is, I appreciate the trailer done like that, because so much of it is not shown, and it's done for a reason.
Yeah, which is
but,
I would really.
I see what you're getting
I'm going to appreciate probably when I watch it, but it literally, I was like, oh, there's other stuff coming out at the same sort of time, and I just put it on my list and forgot about it. What's nice is that you guys have said it's really good, because now I will go and watch it.
The thing is, it's a very.
I've put it on my list, but I'm waiting for people to tell me to watch it.
It's because it's a very thin line. It's like you say. It's like I keep saying before about movies. You know, if you watch trailers, if you watch too many trailers, they're literally showing you what the film's about. So it's like, do I really want to bother watching it now? But with this show, it's like Ant said, had they showed even a hint of what was going to be in it, I think it would spoil it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the trailer is not... Yeah, it's not great, and it does make you think, I'll watch it eventually. Yeah. No, you need to watch it now.
Some of the jump scares in this are, you know, we've all seen horror films. We can see when one's coming. Yeah. Some of these are shot so well. Yeah. Like, even I didn't see it, and can see that coming in half the time.
Are they cheap jump scares?
No, honestly. Some of them freak you out.
Like the fucking cheap jump scare in Haunting a Hill House where she pops down between while they're
No. There's like ones where I've had to like try and freeze frame to see what it was I missed and what. And it's just so good.
It's really bad, isn't it? That John recommended this like ages ago. We all like dismissed it.
I don't even know why I went back to it. I think it was coming up to the roundup at the end of the year.
Tell you what they're about, is it?
No, but it's the thing is sometimes we do. But
it's when John indicated the whole slow burn thing. See, I don't mind a slow burn if there's a meaning to it. And there is with this show, because there's one major word for this show: monologues. Because there are a shit ton in this show, and that's what's put people off of it, and it shouldn't, because there is a reason for it.
They're not internal monologues like in the original Doom film, are they?
Not really, no.
That's all right.
No. But there are parts where my wife was sort of getting pissed off with some of the monologues, because there's one of the actresses who just goes on and on and on. But there's a reason for it at the end of the day.
It's like there's a scene where there's two. I'm not going. There's a scene in one of the episodes. I can't remember which one it is now. But do you remember? It's the one where they're sitting in the the hall, the church hall, and they're talking, and then something happens at the end. And
is that the AA meeting thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That I did not see that bit coming. So, you just...
Now I'm going to.
You've got to watch it.
Well, I'm going to watch it.
Honestly, guys, I want to talk more about it, but if I do, I will go spoiler territory. So please, guys, give it a go.
Will do.
That's mine and John's number one. Big Gal, what's your number one?
Mine is Arcane.
Oh, okay, really?
yeah,
Do you know what? I slept through half of that.
Did you?
What's it about?
Man,
I don't.
it's so good. It's basically based on the game.
It's the video game, isn't it?
League of Legends, but I don't know nothing about it.
Oh, see, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, and I just went in blind, and I watched the first episode, and I was just like, "This is
I'm not good.
like, it's a slow burn." But I think the world basically is set in a world. It's like a steampunkish area. Like I think if you played Dishonor, it's got the same sort of art style in it.
Mm-hmm.
Graphics and animation is brilliant. It's on point. I think one of the best I've seen in a long while. Like colors and used so well. And it's basically premises of Arcane. So basically, there's this magic that is they've found, and they are trying to utilize it. There's more to it, I think, but obviously they're trying to utilize it. At the same time, in this city where it takes place, is like a huge divide with the rich and the poor, where the underground, they've got this gangster running this all sort of like gang, and it's all riddled with like that drug they're using, and they're all like infused with it. And whereas obviously the people up there, it's showing a huge divide, just like how in the real world. And this person's trying to use this magic arcane to better it, use it, utilize it, bring more prosperity for the country. And what I love about it is like each character that they use, like the Jinx are two sisters, but they're basically like torn between a war, and they're struggling because they've been in the underworld, and they come up and they're thieves, and they're kind of getting along, and somewhere along the line they kind of lose their childhood friends, and they part ways, and she and the sisters separate, and it's about them. There's those two characters and how they come back and what's happened to her sister. She the younger sister becomes more sort of like a villain. She's like one of my favorite characters in it. Like she becomes like Jinx, and obviously her older sister becomes like kind of the heroine. It's just like I didn't know much about it, but after watching this show, I want to get more into it, because I think there's other shows about it, and they do like, it's more like Blizzard, the World of Warcraft sort of, that sort of world. So I want to get it. I thought it was really, really good, and I think I recommend. You did not like it?
I started watching. I've watched halfway through, but I think I need to go back and rewatch it, because I was watching the night shifts and just like falling asleep halfway through.
Soundtrack is so good in that.
But I'm like you. I know the game. I've never played it.
It's
So
on Netflix.
it's Netflix.
I mean, the amount of times that you watch
animation's point on point.
stuff,
in that
on
show.
point. It's so good.
That sounds way more in depth than the game, which is just screaming at 12-year-olds on a PC.
Yeah, that's the thing. I
It's on
don't
a massive online
lot
battle
of games adaptation on you're expected to know things, so you're like, oh yeah, that's his. For me, I didn't know nothing, and I was like, I was immediately able to
But if
fall in love with the
someone
characters.
like me then, who hasn't played the games, would I be able to watch it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
okay.
I was. I haven't played the games. I don't know nothing.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah,
You're not
I know nothing.
I know now.
You're not expected to know any of the characters. So yeah, I think if you love your animation and story and stuff, this is.
I don't really watch much animation, but I'd be interested.
It's
to see it.
the Dishonored. It's just like that.
Yeah,
It's sort of that got of art style.
I'll watch that then.
Steampunk.
I like steampunk. Okay,
It's cool, man. Some of the
Sold.
stuff they're doing is good.
on my list.
Yeah.
Good choice, sir.
Thank you.
Now down to Biggie.
Oh, what's he got?
Drum roll, please. What's your number one,
my
sir?
number one is
Korea. Yeah.
no, my number one is based off of a popular movie that came out in, I believe, 1984.
What?
Wax on, wax off.
Oh, okay.
Karate Kid.
Nice.
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Oh, I've never watched it.
So,
It's
Cobra
good,
Kai
John. It's good.
is my number one TV show, and it's literally like it's based off of the two main characters from the first movie. You've got Daniel LaRusso and you've got Johnny Lawrence, and it's what happens to these two these two guys who, like, I think it's like 20 or 25 years later or something like that. I think they're in their 40s, and basically, Daniel LaRusso, he's become this popular kind of like car dealership kind of person. He's got several dealerships, and he's very like successful. He's married. He's got a couple of kids, big house, and everything. But then Johnny Lawrence, who in the original movie, he was like the rich kid, and he was like the popular kid and everything. He's become this kind of drunk, and he's living in this kind of like this
reversal
crappy,
of fortune type of thing.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So he's living in this crappy part of the neighborhood and stuff like that. And basically something happens, and, he gets into this fight, and he uses his karate, and then he basically thinks, and he has this kid who then turns around and goes, "Oh, can you teach me?" kind of thing. And then basically he decides,
Miguel.
Miguel. Yeah. So he decides, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up my own karate dojo and reopen Cobra Kai. And so Daniel LaRusso, he's had such a bad kind of, he's had such a bad experience with Cobra Kai that he then decides that he needs to shut his operation down and, closing down. Where, Johnny Lawrence, all he wants to do is kind of survive, make a bit of money.
Make money,
a bit of money, and then do what he loves, which is karate. It's like, and it's not his fault. His mentor was a bit of a like a bad guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it's just what I love about that show is just it goes more into the detail of, and like it fleshes out each of those characters, like, and you come to find out that they're very similar.
Yeah,
but they're just too stubborn to see it.
And it's on its fourth season now, isn't it?
It's 3 seasons are done. I think it's going into its fourth season. Well, what I love about it, it brings back like old characters from the original movies, and because obviously I think there was like 3 Karate Kid movies or something like that. So it brings back some of the other
4
characters.
if you bring up the Hilary Swank one.
We're
We're not going to go there anyway.
Was there a Hilary Swank?
Hilary Swank was one. She was the new Karate Kid.
Oh, was it?
Yep. And that Misty Miyagi. But no, going back to that show, I watched season 1 when it came out, and there was one thing I really fucking loved about that is they actually go back to the movie, the Karate Kid movie, and we hear it from Johnny Lawrence's side, isn't it?
Exactly.
And I love how you go back to it, and he says, "Well, I'm not the bully because Daniel hit me first."
Yeah.
And it's like and they show you the clip in the film, like, "Oh shit, Daniel did do it. Daniel was the guy who started it all." You
rewatch the film, and then you're like, "Shit, actually, he was, Daniel is as wrong, like, he's in the wrong as much as, Johnny Lawrence is." At the end of the day, there's just basically, it's just a bit of a misunderstanding which kind of escalated. And that's what I really like about this show, that, you've got every single time they're so close to kind of like, creating a bit of peace between themselves, and then
something's got to come across, like their kids get in a fight or something like that.
And it's brilliant. It's funny. It's got martial arts in it, and it's such a good show. And it's one of those, like I said, it's one of those shows where you watch it and you just want to binge watch the next episode, and you just want to keep watching it, and it's just hilarious. It's like the names that that they come up with
Eagle Fang.
Eagle Fang guy, and there's a guy who calls himself Stingray because he's got like a beard.
Isn't there one who's like called Hawk or something because he's got a punk hairdo or something?
And he's got like a hawk tattoo on
his
back and stuff. And it's just like, it's so funny, but it's such a good show. And
it is good.
I really enjoyed watching it, and like I'm looking forward to the next season coming out. And I think it's in 2022 at some point. There's going to be
season 4 just came out, didn't it? So it came out last year.
Yeah.
But even they brought back a guy from part 3 in that season. It just keeps bringing, and all the other characters from the original came back. Like Elizabeth Shue came back as her character, and like the ex-girlfriend and whatnot. I was like, damn, they really got some money behind this.
Another thing, the ex-girlfriend is the woman from The Boys. The
she's she's that the one who breastfed him.
She's Madeline.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's her. And I was like, where have I seen her from? And I've seen her from somewhere. And I was like, oh, she's from The Boys.
Yeah.
She's the breastfeeder.
Yeah, she is. She's the breastfeeder.
She's the breastfeeder.
Who gets zapped at the end, spoiler. But no, that's a good picture. I didn't expect that was going to be number one.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's like I enjoy like all.
Are you a Karate Kid fan though, or is it just the?
I was a Karate Kid fan. Like, I didn't really like watch all the other Karate Kid movies. I've seen the first original one, and like,
did you see the Will Smith one?
The Will Smith
Jackie Chan one.
Yeah, Jackie Chan. It should more so be called Kung Fu Kid than Karate Kid. I think. It's like, But yeah, it's, I was a fan of that. So, watching the show, I was like, I've seen it advertised like quite a lot on YouTube and stuff like that.
It was a YouTube show originally, and then obviously Netflix bought it out.
Afterwards, and then I was just like, should I watch it? How is it going to be? Watched an episode, I was hooked straight away from the first episode.
Because I'll be honest, I didn't watch it when it was on YouTube. I waited till Netflix were like pushing it, and then that's when I was like, oh shit, this is actually pretty good. Yeah. It's like the one you were saying about the Rookie. Yeah. It's one you can have in the background as well and just be like, half an hour show. Yeah. Done. Yeah. Easy.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I'm really looking forward to the next season of that.
I am as well. Season 4 wasn't too bad. Yeah. The karate tournament thing was quite good. The result was pretty good, to be honest.
The result was good, definitely. Yeah.
But that's a good pick, sir. Yeah. That's it. We're all done now.
Yeah.
Wow. You wanted to do some honorable mentions, didn't you?
Oh, yes. Bad Batch, Low Key.
Yep.
What If, obviously, Jay's already mentioned.
WandaVision was all right.
I quite like WandaVision. The whole start of it, no one liked it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's in black and white. I don't like it. Why is it like this? It's like, I'm sure it will make sense in the end, and it obviously did.
As mentioned, Star Wars Visions as well. So good.
Yeah, we get it. Japan, we get it.
Japan, come on. No, it's actually really good.
Anyone else?
Well, I had a lot of 3-part mini documentaries because I love documentaries. So you had Night Stalker.
Oh, I'm like one on the first episode still.
Yeah, I don't know if they count as TV series really.
Technically, there's 3 episodes more.
I'll count it.
It's more of a and then there was another one, Sons of Sam. That was good.
Oh yeah, was that last year? Oh man, that was good.
Did you watch that?
Yeah, I watched that.
That was good. If you like your true crime sort of,
that was really good
documentary style stuff. There was a lot of good. They do quite a lot of good stuff on things like Netflix.
Son of Sam is really good. I really enjoyed that.
If you're talking about cults in things, and that's like a real life example that might have been a cult.
I think it was.
Yeah, me too. It's very compelling in that.
Yeah, very.
Speaking of cults, right, John? Speaking of cults, right? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Should we leave it there then?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all good?
I'm good.
He's interested now.
You're talking about mass, isn't it? Midnight mass.
Might be.
Right, so we'll leave it there, guys, shall we? Yeah?
Yes, definitely.
All right, guys, if you like what you listen to, follow us on the Facebook at the M.T.V.B podcast, or on Instagram at M.T.V.B podcast, on TikTok at M.T.V.B podcast 197, or on Twitter at M.T.V.B podcast 1. From now on, this is the @Man,
JK47,
Gal,
Big J,
and Dave.
Signing off, guys. Watch Midnight Mass. Goodbye.
Bye. All right, peace out.
Midnight Mass, Midnight Mass, Midnight Mass, Midnight Mass.